Oh,
Oh, or should I say, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, ladies. I'm not sure how
Oh,
to
you
set up
gotta
this
do a
podcast
jig. Do
today.
a jig. Do a jig. Do a jig for
Oh,
Nolan.
girl. You know what? Crickets, crickets, crickets.
You're a mess.
Anyway, good evening, bonjour, bonsoir to people in Europe, to our fans and haters in America and also in Europe, and just to say, yes, we are black people, and no, we don't hate white people. Just letting you know, we are not anti-white. We might be just a little bit pro-black. But anyway, we're not even about that right about now. What we're here to talk about is that the French Open 2016 is fucking closed. It's done. It's
In
over.
the books.
done.
In the
Fini.
books. In the
Finito.
books.
We can put an asterisk next to it, but for me, I'm gonna put a white out. Just like didn't happen.
No asterisk.
2016 French
No.
Open didn't happen.
No.
Just like how
no.
2009 Australian Open never really happened. Sometimes these things happen. 2014 Wimbledon didn't happen to me either. Just,
No, you can't
Collective
start out
amnesia.
that way. You can't start
But
out that way.
anyway, let's not even get caught up in it. Good evening, fans who are listening to us live, and welcome to the Realz Tennis Podcast. I believe this is podcast number 57. Full podcast, but whatever. Who's counting anyway? We're old. And before I get any further, let me introduce my co-hostesses with the mostesses. We have Andreen from Solely Tennis Travel, rocking a brand new picture with a new wave. That's not wave, is it?
No.
Hello,
God.
Andreen.
Hello.
And as always, we have our Cato Kaling of podcast, our foreign correspondent, Janina, all the way from somewhere in Ohio.
Hello.
And there's Reels who's just giving you that side eye all evening long. I'm telling you, people. So, ladies, French
Yep.
Open is over.
It's over.
Yes.
My least
And just
favorite
when the
slam
fucking
of the
rain
year.
was supposed to come, it didn't come. I mean,
Didn't come.
seriously. Seriously. But you know what? In all, I just have to say I am so thankful it ended on schedule because I couldn't deal with another fucking Monday. But the shit show. Nope. No sorry. So I'm happy it was ended in 15 days as they had it scheduled. And poor guy will forget this French Open exists because I'm sorry, his name is Guy Forget,
It's
but
historic, though. It's
quite
historic. He will say
recently I
that.
just realized that Guy Forget really is Guy Forget, but he will be trying to forget.
No.
He will be trying to forget this French Open for sure. I mean, like his maiden French Open was nothing short of being a hot mess. I mean, like I don't know what else to say, but I know the Nole fans, the Nole fam, are chomping at the bit. So let me just say it before y'all go crazy over there, needing my validation to get through your life. Congratulations, Nole. You have a career slam. Now, could you go home and have a seat, please? Stefan needs his daddy. Congratulations. I mean, like, apparently this was something that, apparently having a career slam defines your career. And Nole needed it, and he have it, and he's now at 12 majors, I think it is.
No idea.
It's 12. If I'm not mistaken. It's 12. Welcome to your first French Open. You are the fourth man to win a French Open, the third man to win a French Open title other than Nadal since 2005. People, it's been over a decade, and only 4 people has won the French Open. On the men's side. Just think about that. So, folks, what do we start today?
With the ladies. No, the men. We're going to start with the men. We're going to get that messy shit out of the way.
Lord, I told you Rome was a setup. I told you Rome
Oh,
was a
shut
setup.
it! You can't even go down that road because
I
after
told
the
you Rome
first
was a-
set, after the first set, you're like, wait a minute, maybe. Maybe I was wrong. Didn't you say that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I told you Rome. Look, You see, I mean, well, let's be fair here.
Do we have to talk about anything before the final? Did anything happen?
I mean,
Stan fizzled
2.
out. What the fuck was that?
Well,
listen. I told you,
Stan is the only title Stan is interested in defending is Chennai. That's it. Nothing else. He ain't interested in defending the Australian Open. He ain't interested in defending the French Open. And he came in playing what? He probably played he had the less problematic schedule. He had no really crazy matches. All he had to do was get to Randy Murray, who was fighting his way through. And Stanley basically just capitulated that entire match. He could tell himself he wasn't upset.
He lost his way. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, he was serving poorly, and then he was returning horrendously, which, of course, Stan's return is not always, has never been stellar. But he made it seem like Andy Murray was like I don't know,
Nadal.
Djokovic or Karlovic. Karlovic, like he was making Andy serve seem like Karlovician.
And then
his timing was off. His timing just seemed way off in that match. I was expecting it to be more of a blockbuster match.
Me too, because that was the semifinal that I checked out. I was just like, I got no interest in Dominic and Nole. What the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
can I tell you something? The Tennis Channel did not show it. It did not show us. No, it did not show Dominic Thiem and Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic is playing Dominic Thiem at the number 1 and an up and comer, and Tennis Channel shuttled it off to TC Plus.
You guys
spent the entire time.
At Biographer 1986 said Stanley woke up on the wrong side of Donna Beckett.
Okay. I didn't want to go there, but you know what? You took it there. Look.
Well, all I'm saying is that the Tennis Channel thought that the match of the day was Andy Murray versus Stan.
Well, it should have been.
I mean, seriously, why else would they put the number 2 and the number 4 player on Chatrier? I mean, seriously, no.
Hey, can you tell me really quick, why exactly did tickets end up going for €20? Was that because of the weather and the need to catch up?
There was weather. There was a strike. I believe there was a transportation strike.
Weather and a strike.
I don't know if it's a transportation strike to be exact, but there was a strike which was causing the issue. And I'm getting the sense that particularly local French people are not particularly keen on the French Open after a while. They just like that.
Well, and it was also some flooding. There was some flooding,
yes,
so there were actually issues around the city.
Yeah,
well,
so French
it's
Open
like,
was not that serious for them anyway.
It's like what happens sometimes at the U.S. Open.
Pulled out.
When are you getting tickets to the U.S. Open advertised for $20 the semifinal? That happens?
Girl, not even Grong's pass is $20.
No. It can happen. Like the quarterfinals between Stan and Kei Nishikori, I paid $20 to see that. Hold
on. Okay, right. Thank you very much. Clarify.
On StubHub.
It's on StubHub. It's not going to be
on. Selling it for $20. Okay, it was some other third-tier party was selling it for $20. This is the French Federation was selling it for €20, which I believe is roughly $30 American dollars.
Yeah,
well, it was great though, because what you ended up with were a bunch of people screaming in the matches, which is great. You actually had people show up. It was a nice crowd on Lungland to watch a 3-set match.
Yeah.
A 3-set semifinal.
Yeah, I mean, that's good for them. Lucky for the people that got to do that. I'm sure a lot of people who never even dreamed that they would be able to afford a French Open semifinal got to go. So that's nice.
The finals were $20 too.
Shut the fuck up.
The finals were $20 too.
Is one of our listeners on the radio? There's a radio in the background.
Well, we're not supposed to be able to hear our listeners.
Well, we're hearing a radio.
But I don't have a radio. Oh, that's not a radio. That's somebody's boo-boo biscuit in the background.
Janine, is your
I'm alone by myself. Andreen, what about you?
Totally busted.
Well, it can't be helped. I just want to make sure you know that everyone can hear whatever's going on.
Exactly. So just in case she's spilling secrets,
Nah,
we're live. We're live. We can't
don't
get rid of
spill
this
family.
today.
Don't spill no family.
Family just
Anyhow.
So yeah,
Anyhow,
we
so
was saying.
yeah, it was the lead up matches. I mean, you know what? Let's be honest. This has been a pretty poor ATP side of the tournament. No
Yeah, it
matches
was very
really had any sort
predictable.
of.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
very
it was
predictable. I
straightforward.
mean, as much as people like to, and it's something I've noticed too. I mean, like as much as we try to, not we, I certainly don't. People, the media try to create a drama and an aura of like unpredictability and like throw in a couple names and dark
Yeah.
horses. I mean, this is no, this doesn't exist. I mean, remember the Australian Open used to have a surprise finalist? People,
Yeah.
Thomas Johansson has an Australian Open title. He beat Marat Safin.
Pina Corda.
Fernando Gonzalez, Marcos Baghdadis. They have made a major finals. So, I mean, it used to be a time when you used to have unpredictability, up
Well,
in the mix, but not anymore. I
Well, and
mean,
definitely not on this side, not on the ATP side. I mean, it was.
at all.
I wanted them to have their drama, but it was a thing
You're
about.
breaking up, Andre, so you got to repeat yourself.
Damn, my Wi-Fi is
there you
kicking my
go.
ass.
There you go.
No, I was
Okay.
saying that Novak,
She doesn't get to say anything. She's cut off.
Novak, yeah, Novak's ride, unfortunately,
You might have to send a
or
note,
tennis.
Andre. Andre, you want to send us a note and we can say it for you? Because,
Oh, jeez.
and I can't even.
Anyways,
So, I mean,
It's fine.
well, I
I
kind of.
mean, I'm not saying anything different than you would say.
Okay, whatever you just said, completely lost. But I would say for me, I mean, like I just feel like in the end, like I'll
I didn't.
to do whatever. We ended up with the number 1 and 2 seed in the men finals, as we did last time around, Australian Open, Wimbledon, U.S. Open. I mean, you can accuse me of being biased here. I would assume that Federer being in the final, though he was the number 2 seed at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, will probably create a much more buzz because it's the unpredictability of Federer keeping fit to be in the final, and then the nostalgic factor. But there
yeah.
wasn't no, even though Andy Murray sort of like, oh, this is his first French Open. For me, it wasn't all of the build-up they were trying to create. It just wasn't there. I mean, a lot of people tried to say Murray would win this title, et cetera, et cetera. But I was just like, I don't think so because what I saw today clearly confirmed a lot of things that I've been thinking about Murray. I will
Uh-oh.
give him the fact that he was exhausted. I don't know why the fuck he's going playing with two scrubs playing 5 setters. Don't know why the fuck that was in the first two rounds. I am surprised he got to the finals because considering I felt like clearly he's off of the ball, but he made it to the finals. So congratulations to that. But I mean, Murray just doesn't stick to a game plan. Murray had a game plan in the first set, and apparently he figured, you know what, let me just forget about this game plan and then go back to basic Murray in the second, third, fourth set, and then everything that he was doing to bother Djokovic in the first set, completely abandoned all of that, and then it became like a shit show.
Well, did he really abandon it, or did, I don't know, Novak just
Djokovic
step
raised
it
his
up?
play. I mean, there was no that Novak was gonna raise the level of his game, yes, but I mean, Andy Murray, fatigue may have been a factor. That may have been a factor, and I would put that in. I'm not trying to make excuses for him. As you know, I'm different to Andy Murray and certainly different to Djokovic. But I would think fatigue would be a factor. But I mean, Murray was starting to hit the ball late. The second serve was a shit show. I mean, as always. I mean, in the first set, he was popping it in 100 miles an hour.
Right.
I mean, I think he borrowed Serena's first serve. Then all of a sudden, second, third, and fourth set, he went and borrowed Venus's second serve. 60, 70 miles an hour bullshit. I mean, so that was not going to help his cause against Nole. And I mean, when you playing somebody, I mean, like Andy is an experienced player. He knows that you have to be able to recognize what is bothering Novak and stick to that game plan. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's not like this isn't like Jersey Janowitz who luckily get the first set. You understand what I'm saying? Now, like even K, perhaps. I mean, that might be a stretch, but I mean, this is Andy Murray, and he should have been able to do something much more interesting. I mean, the only reason why he didn't get bagel in the fourth set is because Nole was about to choke, and even then he couldn't even capitalize on that shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, allowing himself to go down multiple breaks. You know, like Andy was out there fighting for points, not games, points. So,
hi Nigel, foot fault tennis.
yes, you're on YouTube. Welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
Andreen, can you hear us? Are you with us, Andreen? We can see her, but certainly can't hear her. So, what did you think, Janina?
You know, the first set was good. I mean, it was genuinely good. It would have been a good set regardless who came out on top. It was good tennis. You saw a little bit more errors from Novak there, and honestly, I think it was nerves, and it was weird because you don't see that from him very often. He's usually, even when he gets worked up, you don't typically classify it as being nervous, and he was obviously nervous today. And then, you know, like you said, Andy just kind of went away. He quit playing the brand of tennis that he was playing in that first set. And I don't know why. I don't know if he just got overwhelmed by the situation or he just couldn't keep up that level of play, but it did not work at all, obviously, because he barely won anything else. And, I mean, when he got those breaks late in the match, that was because Novak was choking, which is also something we don't ever see anymore. You know?
Right, and he even couldn't even, he couldn't even respond to that. And I'm happy that there wasn't the fifth set because Nolan would have just walked all over him. Because
do you think Andy Murray was tired?
I mean, I think fatigue. I definitely think fatigue may have been a factor.
Maybe mental fatigue. His body was not tired. He doesn't get tired. I mean, come on. This is one of the fittest guys on tour. John McEnroe kept talking about Andy being tired. He wasn't tired.
Girl,
I'm not buying that.
You know, Meldonium is no longer available freely, so people gotta be looking human these days. No more miracles in 2016.
But you know what? McEnroe was talking about it before Andy even really started to go into that funky slump. I mean, it was pissing me off. I'm like, where are you coming from?
But this is what I found. I was listening to Eurosport, and thankfully I didn't have Chrissy today. She doesn't comment on the men's matches, at least what I have. But what I found very, very interesting from the Eurosport commentators, particularly Matt Wieland, I think they were out there talking about, like, Andy Murray is going to show Novak who spends more time in the gym. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Right?
I think I'm hearing the names mixed up because we can't be. There is nobody else fitter and taller than Novak Djokovic. I mean, I didn't know that was even up for debate.
But that doesn't make Andy unfit.
I'm not saying that Andy isn't unfit, but if Andy is trying to make this a game of like wearing Novak down, boo, not gonna work. That is not. He needs to play quick points. He needs to get to the net. He needs to shot the point. He's sustaining these rallies because maybe we don't want to talk about this. I don't think Andy necessarily always have the focus to stay in all of these rallies all of the time. He makes ridiculous errors. Nole was definitely on top of it, as we can see that in the second, third, and fourth set. Nole was all over the rallies, the drop shots, working Nole way. Apparently, drop shot is the new thing now. So, I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm happy. I mean, in the end, I'm honest to God, I'm happy Nole won because you know what? We don't got to hear about this story any more time. We can just move on and then worry about real tennis now and not worry about these legacy people are trying to create just now and these records and whatever. So he has over $100 million. Congratulations, Boo, because you know Realz is all about the coins. Always about the coins. I think you exceed that more than before. You have your career slam. You have 12. I mean, you have 4 in a row. And interestingly enough, the Novak slam, 4 majors in a row, seems to be worth more than Serena slam, which she did twice. Not trying to say, not trying to.
Yeah, how does that work? I mean, really.
I don't know how this works. People.
How is it all of a sudden a much bigger deal than someone who's done it twice?
You know, I mean, I literally heard accomplished journalists, quote unquote, accomplished, saying, "Oh, the Serena slam is bullshit." You know, like she needs a calendar slam to prove herself. So, you know, let's see, and it's gonna be interesting going into Wimbledon. Novak is the defending champion. I mean, if he gets this, I mean, the pressure is going to be thing, and you know,
there's no such thing as pressure. Come on.
No, there isn't.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not with these people. Come on. Like at the end of the day, there's pressure when you feel like your opponents are ready to chase you, and really ramp up. Are any of the men willing to chase Novak? Really?
Well, that's it. I mean, I think
does Novak feel chased by anyone other than history and other than the moment? And because let's be honest, even in the first set, right? The first set, yes, Andy might have started out with a sort of winning strategy midway through the set, but part of that was also because Novak wasn't fully dialed in.
I would say that too.
He was anxious, nervous. So in some ways, this match was 100% on. No, but I just think that at the end of the day, did you think that the match was on Andy's racket or Novak's racket?
You know my theory on this, right? I believe Nola is in control of every single point.
Well, particularly in this matchup.
Right.
In this matchup, Novak is. I mean, he just had to get over the moment, as recommended by Garbiñe Muguruza. Just get over the moment and focus on the fact that you have this guy's ass, like he's yours. So, I mean, when you look at that scoreline, it's not even respectable.
Right.
I mean, like,
and even when it's not
what
going
you
to be
expect to
respectable.
see in a
I mean,
final
if you even go into the match, if you even go into the breakdown, you'd be like, girl, you are so close to getting triple bagels in those last four sets. Like,
I mean, it was what do they call it? It was a coronation and not one that was something that the fans was able to sort of get on that ride and join in. It was a given. It was a given that Novak was going to win the calendar slam, not the calendar, but at least win the French Open. There was no mystery to it. There was no point in time where there was any part of it that was in doubt, which is why I think the French fans decided that they wanted to finally be on the side of a winner. And
well, I mean, actually, the best part of the moment to me,
they showed up going, "This is Novak's." I mean, there was no doubt in their mind that Novak was going to win, and they all wanted to be there for the moment. There were people recording it.
Right. I mean, you know how I feel about these people. Everything recorded, but I mean, I have to say that I want to ask a question. Something you say. I want to frame the question differently than what you asked, Andre. My question is that you ask, is anyone going to chase Nolan? My question is that, is there any man on the ATP side, okay? I mean, who is willing to say, you know what, Nolan, fuck you.
No.
You can't know this shit. I mean, every time I see Serena come out there, and this is no comparison, okay? Serena has 21 majors, Nolan has 12, okay? No comparison here, and Serena's been on tour longer, for sure. Serena's 34. These girls, as Serena point out, they are gutting. They want to snatch that win. Everybody wants a Serena win because Serena win is real money. I mean, the press is gonna talk about it. Like you overcome the power, you beat the monster, etc., etc. They want a Serena win. The press will talk about it, but the girls would say when you talk to the girls, the women, themselves, they're gonna say Serena is the greatest player, and I beat her, and that's giving me confidence in my game. These men in Nola just like, let's line up. Let's line up and be the side note. Who did Nola beat to get here? Oh, you know what? Nola beat me in the first round when he got his first French Open. I'm so proud of that. I won 4 games. Yeah, I took 4 games.
No, you're right. You're right, though.
But when you look at the women's side, look at Puncheseva. I mean, Puncheseva was just like she was shot of reaching across over there punching.
Men are naturally hierarchical. They respond to hierarchy. That's just the way they're made.
Alpha male in the pack, and everybody wants everybody to be beta.
They respond to hierarchy. They bend their heads as the top dog walks by, and then they muscle that they say to themselves, "There's no way I can do it. There's no way I can do it."
Well, and let's be honest. Right now,
that's just what it does.
Right now, at this moment in time, people are not going, I want the Novak win. Not just yet, not so much. They're still going, I want the Fed win, I want the Rafa win.
Because they're vulnerable. But see, what it is because that's how men respond.
No, it's because they're bigger champions. At the moment.
Actually, people were gunning for Federer because Radek Stefanik almost took Federer out.
No, what I'm saying is men wait until the circumstances change and then they make the rush. They know that Rafa is vulnerable. They did the same thing with Rafa and they did the same thing with Fed. They respond to hierarchy. So when Novak has a dip, they're going to rush in because they still want that Novak win. It's just that they are going to wait until the dip. They're not willing to jump and rise to the occasion. They wait until the dip to get the win. So it's like 2013, I think I might be able to get a Rafa win. Or 2015, I might be able to get Rafa this year. Novak, they still believe he's untouchable, and they talk about him that way. I mean, and that's unfortunately for the ATP, that's the mindset of the men on the tour. People always used to say, well, that's what was happening for Federer. But it wasn't unique to Federer. It's just the way men respond. They look around and they don't believe in possibilities. Some of them don't, unfortunately, and they just sort of fall in line and they go, he's the number one. I'm going to see if I can slot number 2, number 3, I mean, they're like Burditch. They all like, oh, well.
But you know what? My favorite, Burditch is only here to remain in the top 5. Burditch is going to be like, I was in the top 5, top 10 for like 20 years on the ATP.
And that's noble enough. That's good enough for some.
I'm telling you, Burditch is going to be, I don't know if he's going to be an ace coach, but I'm telling you, he's going to be the country club maverick. Watch this.
Oh my God. Nigel wants
the country club, and he's going to take control.
Football Tennis wants to talk his meltdown over Nelson, the French journalist, trying to get into his player box during the final. I kind of missed that. Did you guys see it?
Yeah, I saw the pictures of it in the beginning.
I don't really know what happened.
It was in set 1. Apparently, what this guy does is he walks around and he gets like color commentary from the coaches. You know how they do that at the U.S. Open? So he wandered into Andy Murray's box, I think hoping to get some sort of comment. But of course, Andy's the kind of person that looks constantly at his box. So that was unsettling for Andy.
Right. Y'all are about to set me off with this bullshit, right?
Yeah, so I think he mentioned, did he motion to the umpire, to the chair umpire, Realz? To like get this guy out of my box?
I don't even know.
Because in the first set, yeah.
Just like, boo, your business is on the fucking court.
Listen, Andy pays attention to everything. He can't help it.
Thought of Judy falling over or having a seizure update. You're getting your ass kicked on the court.
No. He looks to his box for affirmation
all the time.
It drives me insane. Fucking insane. Look, you see, let's go back to Svitolina. I don't want to get to the ladies too much. Svitolina was sitting down there looking for affirmation, looking for a game plan from Justine. Instead of she mind her business and realize that, girl, last year you almost took Serena out of the Australian Open. Play that game. Serena is older now. No, you're still only taking a double.
No, but we're talking about the men's side now. I mean, that's just what that's Andy's though. It's always been who he is.
My favorite moment. You know what? I had a favorite moment of the finals. I mean, it was a mini moment because it didn't turn out to which I wanted to do. So we're in the first set. Call the ball out. The ball was actually in. Demissoir, I'm telling you, your eyesight is on point. You're Bugs Bunny. Because I'm telling you, that ball could not be any less in than it was, according to Hawkeye. You called it right, and then you said, this is not a let, this is point to Andy Murray. Oh, I thought Djokovic was going to go the fuck off. I was just
it really helped him. It actually really helped him.
It was a crowd. And let me just say, okay, French and Serbian people are not allowed to go to live events anymore. Watch it on TV, okay? You people need to stay home and watch it on TV. If we're giving out $20 ticket, we need to be checking people's passports from other part of the European Union. I'm not trying to be ethnocentric here, but I mean seriously. It was a point.
Is that why it was so crowded? They were giving out tickets to
tickets were
the finals as well?
Tickets. I don't know if the price went up, but before the semifinals. I literally saw that, men's semifinals $20, women's semifinals $20, women's finals €20, and men's finals €20.
Oh, so, that explains it. So it's not. So I'm curious. So that's why we had that crowd, because that was really. I mean, that was genuinely. It was a totally different. Like they were celebrating Novak, and I was like, where did they ship these people in, or what happened?
Because what was happening was that
no shade at all, but it's like it was rare for me to hear a crowd so jubilantly.
Well,
on
I
Novak's
really get
side,
commercial
and I thought
breaks
that was
on
great.
my feed. I really get commercial breaks on my feed, so I get to see a lot. And what was happening was that before they start reducing the tickets, is that particularly in Chatrier where you have that special box and they try to invite people and whatnot, people were talking and eating and being a fucking distraction. Like it was a hot mess. And there was nobody in the stands, right? So you could literally hear people chewing that steak frita, all that shit. You could literally, and even the commentators were just like, people give y'all a free ticket, and y'all coming here acting like a mess. Like, seriously.
Well, I mean, the tennis wasn't compelling, so what are you going to do? Eating too.
I mean, like, they're like, eat your lunch inside and come outside and watch the tennis. We don't even do this at Wimbledon. We don't even.
But to be honest, you know what? Who really cares about the tennis at this point in time? We're not really. I mean, I'll be honest. Does anyone really care about the quality of the tennis? I mean, most people
apparently not.
They just want the win.
Well, I mean, again, everybody wants to be on the bandwagon, right? You want to be on a winning bandwagon.
Yeah, it was legacy building. Nobody cares if the final was compelling, if it was tense. It was, I mean, whatever. It's like if we finally get a chance to create like Novak has won the career slam, or career slam, and it's great for him, I think.
I mean, yeah. Again, I have a question with this legacy bullshit because I'm just like, again, it's just like. This is a personal achievement for him. This don't mean anything else other than that. Because, I mean, are we gonna shade Pete Sampras now because he's never got to the French Open final?
Well, you know what it is? When you have a sport that doesn't have like a naturally compelled audience, that's like pulled in because of the joy of the sport and because there are interesting personalities, the next best thing for you to do is to spend a lot of time talking about legacy. Because and records, because you are then essentially spending PR time spinning your sport. If you notice, you don't need to spin your sport when you have sold out stadiums everywhere you go and the person is showing up on the cover of magazines and people are just excited and people are streaming in and pushing over. You don't have to do that. People don't even care what the record is at that point in time. They're just happy to see people. But when you have a sport that is really essentially it's a sideshow for other sports. I mean, listen, it's a niche sport. Then you're spending a lot of your time talking about your brand, talking about why tennis is so great because 3 guys win all the titles, why tennis is so compelling, all of those kinds of stuff. And so I do think that it doesn't even matter so much that the final wasn't compelling, that none of the matches on the ATP side I mean, think about it. Were there any great matches, like singularly great matches on the ATP side?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not really.
I can remember. Mm-mm.
I mean,
there were a couple that I tuned in for, and I was like, K. Oh gosh, girl, K.
Yeah.
But, there were matches that could have been potentially.
Could have been, but that's been a lot for the ATP. A lot of could haves, but nothing ever really rose to the height of. This was the match that I'm going to remember. So what we're going to remember about this is that Rafa Nadal injured himself and didn't allow us to have that semifinal, and that Federer didn't play it for the first time, and that Novak achieved the career slam across Andy Murray, who was in that final for the very first time. I mean, those are the moments.
Apparently, another thing we can add is that since 2005, there have been 3 other people who has won the French Open, and nobody had to beat Nadal
to do it. Which I think is a certain kind of. I mean, that is really funny, right? How is it possible that the guy who has owned that tournament, the winner, has never had to go through him?
And everybody who's beaten him just don't prosper. Just don't. Granollers. You got a free pass into the 4th round, girl, but you know what?
Wow,
it's like the Roland Garros curse.
It really is. Well, I mean, it's just, but you know what? Let's be honest. It's an unpleasant tournament. I mean,
everyone talks about it being like the worst Grand Slam. Like I haven't been there yet. Somebody out there could let me find out firsthand. And
I've been.
You've been to the French Open?
Yes, I've been to the French Open, and you know when I was at the French Open? 2009.
Oh, shut it.
I was.
You mean the only one that really ever happened?
Stop talking. Oh, did you see when the man came onto the court? The crazy man. Did you watch the final?
You know what? I didn't see the final. Do you know what I was there for there? I was there for Federer's lucky escape from Akususo. that was fucking ridiculous. But no, it's just, you know what it is.
Argentines keep trying to fuck up Federer.
Federer's run. But no, it was it's very crowded. It's that has to be the worst place to have rain delays. The worst, which is why I can understand why there were a few people.
There's no place to shelter.
There's no place to shelter.
I've been by the area.
Unpleasant. It's not. The buildings are ugly. I mean, I was there in the rain, and they used to have a museum attached, but you know, you can only stay in that museum for so long. It's just not a great place to be trapped when it rains. They just don't have anything, and it's crowded, and the lines are unpleasant.
US Open is not that much better anyway, but you know.
Yeah, I think both the US Open and both the US Open and the French are the worst place
by a whole bunch of shit.
Well, no, but it's also the worst place for rain. There's just no place to really shelter. You might go into shopping spaces, but nothing. So, you know, I mean, good. Congratulations to Novak. I don't even care enough about the title to be a hater for it. I mean, it was inevitable.
Indifferent.
I think more power to you on getting it. It's nice. I wish that there was more drama associated with it and it was more interesting from a fan perspective. But I think personally for you,
you played a 5-setter.
Nail biting something. Exactly, I mean, even Federer's wasn't that way, but he was in danger match after match after match. Like he was coming. You know, there was a real battle. The easiest one was the final.
You know, this is interesting. Football Tennis said that this was the first year that he went, and he said, "Lord, the tournament needs to find a sugar daddy and spend some euros." You know what? This is something that we heard a lot, that it just seemed really run down. But then he also mentioned that you're not allowed to leave the grounds when the rain delay comes.
Yep,
which makes it even worse. Like what? They don't have a policy where you get your hand stamped and you can come back in? Nope. What is that all about?
It's just, you know what it is? And the funny thing is people are focusing on sort of building the tournament up. You know, sometimes you can just, if you can't build out, then you need to figure out how to ramp up services. But I've never known the French to be really key on servicing people well. So I think that's probably going to be hard.
I do think a lot of European cities, particularly since this is actually in Paris proper, it's very difficult to. There's a whole bunch of red tape in order to like build up and build out.
That's what's happening. That's what's happening there. They can't build out.
Exactly, they're having problems trying to remodel it.
Described as looking shabby. I mean, you don't hear that about a Grand Slam.
Well, because you know what? I don't know if you know. I mean, one of the things that people don't know about Paris in a weird way is that we only ever see the pretty parts of Paris, which is where the tourists go. Yeah. But realistically, Paris has a really ugly industrial design in the modern section. Like Parisians have like a modern like sensibility in terms of architecture that is really unattractive. So the actual
London too sometimes, no tea, no shade, people.
I mean, but actually inside the tournament, the buildings are cement-like. They're made of they're not pretty. Like it hasn't been prettified by like flowers or like how Wimbledon is very pretty. That is not the way it is at Roland Garros. It's very industrial looking. The structures are not beautiful. They're interesting, but they're not beautiful. So it's an uncomfortable. It's not a place that invites. Let's sit down and enjoy being out here. It's just not that way. It's not like, you know how Rome. You look at Rome, and you're like, wow, that looks like it's not that way.
Fair enough.
Since we're playing on dirt, you know, whatever. Maybe, and you know, Guy, forget I feel so bad for you. You took over the tournament. Y'all dealing with scandal with your own tennis federation. I mean, girl. Yeah, but this was not how you wanted to come. You thought that you were gonna be like Serena was gonna win her 22nd major and Nolan's gonna get his career slam, and it's just press on the record. But you know, rain came and washed it all away.
Well, can we move on? Can we move on from Novak?
Let's talk about
it. So we saw the man.
So congratulations to Novak.
Yes,
you're like one of four. I'm happy you're part of the one of four as opposed to the group that you're Boris is in, which is one that never managed to win the French, right? So that's good. I was looking, they posted that at Tennis Channel, like all of these major names who never bottled the French Open title. And but you know what? I feel like the French Open title is no longer blocked. From now on, I really feel like anyone is going to be able to have a shot at it. It just feels like it's open now. It was really blocked by one guy.
Trying to tell me the French Open is going to become the new Australia Open?
No, but you know what it is? I mean, it could be for Novak, but let's think about it. There was one amazing guy on clay for 9 years blocking people.
Yeah.
He's gone. And so now it's like a free-for-all, really. I mean, maybe Rafa wins it again next year, but that's not a given.
Kei Nishikori? Kei Nishikori, you need to speak to Michael Chang and y'all figure out some fucking schedule. Whether, I don't care if you skip Australia and you just show up for Paris, here is your chance.
But you know what? Why? But you know why? Kay's really had his best results on hard, so who knows? I mean, I keep wanting him to break through at the French because his coach broke through at the French, but who's to say? Somehow or another he gets locked.
We're just trying to say his body. It's his body. Kay's made of glass.
But it was his body. No, this time we can't blame Kay's body. We can't even blame Kay's body. It was his play. We need to help Kay not have that one stinker match. Every tournament he throws in absolutely horrendous match.
He does.
Sometimes he survives it, and sometimes he doesn't. And you know what? Oftentimes in a 5-setter, that's the one he doesn't survive.
He's taking the Monfils. He take the Monfils manner into a major, right? The Monfils way, We're going to play long 5-setters, we're just going to drop random
No, but he didn't
sets.
do that this time. He didn't. This is the thing. This time he was doing really well. He was managing himself well. That was his problem historically. But this time he managed himself well, and then he threw in a stinker match. You're like, this match doesn't...
Yes. So anyway.
But at least, but that was pleasant. That was a pleasant match, though. Let's think about that. Was a pleasant win for the French. Gasquet was like a really good storyline. This tournament, no?
Because God knows none of the other Frenchies really showed up.
Nope. Some left town.
They got broken, but you know what? They got the ladies doubles. So who gives a shit? And Caroline Garcia, I almost forgot your name, girl.
Great.
You got this.
Maybe that's the key to the French is be paired on court.
Because my boo Pierre decided he ain't got no time for that shit. And Kiki, she lost out in the semifinals with Pierre in the mixed doubles, and Kiki brought it home, and she took out a very good team of Makarova and Vesnina. So that was a very good win, and they have been quietly, Kiki and Caroline has been making themselves known because they took out
Santina
and Santina some time ago. Oh, Santina and I don't even know these girls, and that's crazy.
They were French. No, they were French. They were actually like a French pair that won. I mean, not a French pair. They were a pair that won the Junior French Open. So they're actually a very well, I guess, a good team. I'm
not saying that the people who beat them. I just didn't even know who these people are. But I'm telling you, for me not to know somebody on the ATP and the WTA, even I've heard that name before. Didn't even know these people's name at all. But I'm telling you. They were sticking it to Martina and Sanya like it's somebody's business. They wanted to. Even when they get a break and they get yes, because actually the team broke them to win the match. They weren't fucking around. They came prepared for that match. They did all their homework, but apparently that joy of that big win just flopped the next round. But anyway.
Well, see, what they did was they took the Santina idea and said, hey, you guys are dominating. This is just going to allow us to raise our level. Unlike the men with Novak, these people decided to
that's just
the team.
That's an interesting point. You're going to face the best. So don't come out here with business as usual game plan. You're going to come with something else. And maybe, the matchup with the, the matchup changes. And that's true. But you know what? Enough with the hombres, the ladies. Les dames. So... Gabinia Muguruza, who has done garbage all year. Let's be honest here. Let's keep it 100. We always keep it real here. Gabin Muguruza has only won 3 matches in 2 places in a row. 2 places. 2016. Rome.
What a time to show up, right?
And guess what? She didn't just win 3 matches in Paris. She won 7. Okay. Hey. She walked away with her maiden French Open. And you know what? In the spirit of keeping it real, I didn't want Gabina to win just for one single reason. I didn't even care who she was playing against, if it wasn't Serena or whatever.
Here you go.
You know why? I had to see that ugly fucking yellow dress all over the place. With holes and that jacket. Oh my God. Oh good Jesus.
We're not gonna get there yet. Let's talk about the tennis.
I just had to get it off my chest. It was gonna burn me. It was gonna burn me. Acid reflux watching that garbage. But anyway, the ladies. I mean, last time we left. The ladies.
Go ahead.
I think last time we left in our midweek report, we were basically dealing with the rain delay and whatever, because I think Monday and Tuesday was basically a washout and this sort of thing. But you know. Again, I'm noticing how these side-eye reporters, you know, I'm just clocking your reporters. Nobody talked about the fact that Serena had to play 4 days in a row. Nobody talked about that. We were all like, we got to have the men's finals on a Monday. No, he can't play 4 matches in 5 days. Yada, 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 bullshit.
We got 5 sets, though. The women are playing 3.
Yeah, 5 sets. The general consensus was, from what I was seeing, the women do this all the time on tour anyway, so no big deal.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's fine with me. You know, you can bitch about it all you want, but at the end of the day, before all this
don't play 7 matches in a row anywhere.
But they play 3 days in a row.
I'm just saying that I'm not slighting anything with Muguruza and whatever. I'm just talking about the parity of the situation, right? Let's be fair. I mean, at the end of the day, Serena was definitely carrying an injury, and a day off would have been fine.
No, but what parity? I mean, they both have to play the situation. It's like Serena said. She's like, in her own mindset, she's like, listen, we do this every day. The slams is where we get a break.
Right. So, so you didn't get a break time, you know?
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, in the men's side, it's not the case because they are playing 5 sets. I mean, there's a possibility of 5 sets, so you do have reason to start getting nervous. But you know what? The match was good. I'd give it like a solid C+.
B.
It was a good final. I mean, I wish it would have gone 3 sets.
Me too.
I think if it had gone 3 sets, then I think we would have actually been able to have a conversation about what was going on in the match. I know a lot of people are thinking about. Can I just say one pet peeve?
Go ahead.
Somebody cannot be declared a king or a queen if they only win 1 title. That's not kingdom or queendom. That's not how it works.
Girl. You want to send something back to the typewriter and trying to fix something here? Look. You know, we giving out consolation legacy. You know how it works, right? You know, we just add in when our resume ain't enough, we just tacking on made up title. You know, when at work your boss creates some title, you know, for somebody, but it's like, babe, why is she trying to act like, girl? You're a secretary. Now you're trying to act like you're administrative executive to the staff. Hey, you're a typist. You answer the phone. You're a receptionist. Don't be coming for me with your maiden slam. Look, a one-hit wonder. Look.
I just want everyone to calm down with the coronations. You don't become a king and a queen over 1 title. So I think it was I definitely think it was really good that Muguruza had played Serena several times.
Right.
And so she was able to match.
Particularly in the finals before.
Yeah.
Particularly in the finals before, where she felt that her game against Serena, she felt that I know that she probably lost sleep over that Wimbledon final because she felt she had chances.
Yeah.
It was not a runaway. Well, the second set was a runaway, girl. It was. Serena choked a little bit. But
a little bit?
The second set was almost a breadstick. It was almost a breadstick. It's just like Nole and Andy today. Just saying.
Well, I mean, the difference is that I think the difference is that you can't. I think strategically, Andy played Nole poorly, and Nole was in fine form. I think in this case, what you had was a really strong challenger who was encountering someone who was not at their best. I mean, I think the thing that's apparent to for me now as watching Serena at this age is that Serena at 34 is not going to be able to rise to the occasion as she would have if she was younger and not playing her best. So
like last year when she was dialed in.
Yeah, like and not at her best is not going to cut it. But you know what? It was the same thing at Wimbledon for her last year with Muguruza, right? Muguruza was playing very well, and Serena sort of had like a really like lucky escape in certain moments out of that match because Muguruza's nerves helped. So I think, I think that's really for me, for the Serena stans who are like, oh my God, she's never going to win it. I mean, I think what you have to admit is that she's a 34-year-old now who can no longer maybe win a slam title being at, say, 80%.
Right, and she has to manage her resources better. Like, you can't be fucking around with Pinto Seva and Kiki Bertens. You just can't be. Granted that they played really good tennis, but like you have to manage you have to be efficient on court. You have to start quickly. You can't, have initial letdown. You can't be coming from behind because that's always gonna put you behind the 8 ball and, in trouble. But I mean, I thought it was a really good tournament. The women, I mean, there were
some good matches.
The only pole match I would say, sorry, Sam's bicep is Sam Stosur's semifinal match. But as we saw, Muguruza won so clearly. Muguruza was feeling herself. She was feeling her oats. And she was on it. She was not going to let Sam. She took the initiative early. Sam thought that she could probably work her way into the match. And Muguruza was just like, that's not happening on my watch today. So the ladies, I thought, was excellent. I did enjoy the ladies match. I'm happy Muguruza
The tournament
won.
as a whole on the ladies side was fun. You got to see some people show up, show who they are, show where they want to be. Venus had a great tournament. You had what's her face, Kiki.
Yeah, having like a nice run.
Mm-hmm.
Getting
let me just say to the Italians, let me just say to the Italian or the Italian who said Kiki wasn't cute, Kiki got semifinal money. Georgie still can't pay her bills.
You guys are gonna keep on taking care of Georgie.
It was refreshing because how many times have we said it is time for the young people to step up and challenge the veterans on tour, and we got to see a little bit of that this time around, and it was refreshing. And the truth of the matter is, pretty much everybody says that. Like, where's the younger generation? What are they doing? But then when it happens and your fave is on the losing end of that, then you don't want to see it so much anymore.
But you know what?
Fucking mind.
Maybe perhaps when Serena and this new generation. I mean, I think the only person who beat a veteran in the final was Davenport, who beat Steffi Graf in Wimbledon final to win her only Wimbledon. So I think usually, back in the day, it was usually people contesting around, contemporaries contesting the majors, you know what I mean? It was never this generational gap for a while. I'm not saying it didn't happen before, but quite recently in people's recent tennis minds. And people, let's just be honest, Serena's 34, Gabinia is 22. Okay, when Serena was getting ready to play major, Gabinia probably didn't even know what tennis was. She just didn't. She was 3, okay? She was 3.
And to be honest, that set was winnable.
This shouldn't be shocking. This shouldn't be such a crazy idea that Gabinia, who's younger, taller, and I did not realize she was 6'1". All the more reason why she's on my list, and someone needs to help. Like, she needs a good Judy in her life because, girl, you are not working that 6'1" frame. Maria with her broad shoulder, never, ever. Maria would never come out looking like that. Never. Just saying, Maria 6'1". Venus never will come out looking. But you know what? Venus, I remember some of those Australian Open finals. We ain't gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that, Venus. That wedges, yes, we're not talking about it.
But
did we lose him?
I don't know.
Fix that. Right now, fix it. She got major. She is beautiful. You can put her out there. She has an amazing smile. And Gabini, I guess, would you still have friends now? Would you have any friends?
She'll have a lot of fake friends.
She seems likable enough.
But she says nobody like each other. I probably like Howard too. You know what?
Just say that is so horrible. Like before at the start of the tournament, I DM'd somebody. I said, I find Garbi Muguruza utterly charmless. I mean, she was very charming last year, but then she started to believe her own press and believe that she was better than she actually was, I guess. And and now, now she's back to winning, and I guess that will be really good for her. What's interesting to me is the notion that Garbiñe suddenly arrived and that she's going to like keep winning. I mean, this woman didn't string together any wins all year until here.
I'm not
and
buying
now we're
that.
supposed to be convinced that she's going to show up at Wimbledon and she's going to do that at the U.S. Open.
I mean, she may be on the bus with Kerber. I don't know.
But which is being driven by Anna Ivanovic.
Right?
But you know what? It's great because what that means is that there's a chance for anyone else to come through. There's no one. I don't believe in the hype. I don't believe in that someone's about to establish a kind of dominance, a tour dominance. I don't think any of. They don't seem like that sort yet. Whatever they need to do to put together, it just, I mean, for me, I've noticed dominance usually happens where you're winning smaller tournaments, you're winning the middling ones, and then you're also winning the slams. So showing up only at the slam and then taking a slam does not dominance make.
Right. So and it's also a mindset. If you look at like Hingis and Davenport and even Capriati, God forbid, and Venus and Serena and Justine and Kim. I mean, Kim's problem was that like she was stringing together all the right wins, but not in the right places. When she gets to the major, she met her girlfriend Justine, and Justine just that whipping ass.
I love that.
But, I mean, there was kind of a mindset that I didn't. I mean, like this when these girls. I'm old enough to remember when these ladies came on tour for the first time. Justine, I remember used to be wearing a watch, and I used to be, bitch, what the fuck are you wearing a watch for? Where you going? You got to check something else, but you apparently
got places to go.
Watches are the new thing now. But I mean, when Justine came on tour, you could just see that that's how the attitude that she's by hook or by crook. I'll be trying to do some
and
shit
by
out
crook
there.
sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of the players, they get hot, and I think it's fantastic that they do. They're like, I mean, it's like basically an entire tour filled with stands. It's like there's like a show up and be unplayable.
I can hear the unfollowers right now. I can hear them clicking. Unfollow this bitch. _Galavan. Fuck this shit.
But isn't that what you want? I mean, isn't that what you want? Don't you want someone to show up only for the slam and just listen? I'm prepared for Stan to win Wimbledon next, so I don't know.
Oh Jesus.
Or better yet, the US Open.
But you know what? How funny would it be if Stan won the next two and then he's got the career Grand Slam?
Listen,
hold up.
No, let me just tell you, Stan has
only
put
showing up for
together
one tournament for the year.
Wait,
1
he
year.
puts together a resume. Stan's resume, if you look at it, is ridiculously impressive for like 2 years of work. I mean, Stan is that guy. How wonderful is that guy? Like, you've got somebody working their heart out, right, to win shit. And Stan shows up for the last 2 years of your job and slides on up in there and gets the promotion.
Exactly.
Emmanuel says.
And get the young girl too. And get the young girl. But I have to say, I mean, like,
well, listen,
you are not far off on this idea that Stanley could win Wimbledon, Andreen. Because if we go back,
why not?
I mean, 2014,
he
Australia.
used to do really well in the semis against Andy. Yeah.
2014, he won the Australian Open. Shit all year long. 2015, he won the French Open. So Stan is 2016 is gonna be Wimbledon, and 2017 U.S. Open. You heard it here first.
Maybe the U.S. Open. Yeah.
Well, no, I think he seems to be going down. He seems to be following.
He's going in order.
Pattern. Exactly.
Yeah, he's going in order. This is his year for Wimbledon.
He should go in order. So if it's this year
Emmanuel,
for Wimbledon or next year for Wimbledon.
Emmanuel says that if Garbiñe Muguruza's with Kerber on that bus, then she's losing in round 1 of Wimbledon.
Probably, because you know why I'd be up for that. Garbiñe looks like she's going to enjoy every single thing that's coming at her because she started enjoying it by just being a finalist. So she's going on photo shoots.
Well, actually, they talked about that.
She specialist thing in the world. Yeah.
Last year at the U.S. Open, she talked about that. Just getting the extra attention because of the Wimbledon final. And I would never forget a journalist who shall remain nameless. I know you're listening to us right now. You asked, were you thinking about Serena's legacy that you could probably stop her in Wimbledon? Well, I guess you got the answer now because Gabina don't give two shits. She stopped Serena from getting that 22 this year.
Listen, our friend Remy, you're supposed to be in the corner. I don't even know why you're here. I put you in timeout earlier. But Remy says, is the beating Serena factor is that what's making the media hail Garbine is the new queen of tennis? And I don't know that they really are.
Of course,
people just like to talk, but the truth is
they have and done.
But here's the truth: had she beat anybody else and still won, yeah, you won the French Open, but it's bigger because you beat Serena. It's always going to be bigger because you beat her.
And also Serena
think about it,
as a villain in tennis, right? Beating Serena. How they talk about Serena. It's it's ridiculous.
But also, but think about her record though. Let's think about it. You can count on one hand the people who have beaten Serena in a final. In a Grand Slam final.
Right.
Serena is she's made 27 Grand Slam finals and has lost only 5, right? Is that what it is?
5 or 6.
So she's not at 22. She's not at 6. So yeah.
She lost 2 to Venus, if I'm not
mistaken. Yeah.
No, I tell a lie. Is it 2?
I don't know. But
yeah, I think
she doesn't lose. That's the point.
She's part of the double club.
Right, yeah.
The point is that
she got a silver maiden. She got a silver medal cup, yeah. Yeah, she does.
No, but if you think about it, that's ridiculous. No, Maria has won, Stosur has won, and it's not Vinci because Vinci didn't beat her in a final. But it's rare for Serena to lose finals.
Yeah,
so
French Open,
No, I'm talking about a final. In a final. Oh. Serena in a final is pretty much
people. And I just have to remember when we're subject of Serena.
Winning her in a final is a big deal.
Yes, Serena is a tad bit slow. Even Dumbledore's reaction time was a little bit slow. But Serena just won 3 majors last year. Why are we acting like if this is Venus? Serena ain't yeah, she got into finals.
And she's still getting to final.
Look, people, she is clearly the number one player.
But listen, are we going to talk about the fact that she was carrying an injury that she didn't want anybody to know about, but the lovely Marion Bartoli went and ran her mouth? I'm not putting an asterisk next to Garbine's match. I'm not. But it happened. So everybody's like, oh my God, Serena lost again. She lost again. She lost again. You put a healthy Serena in a final against anybody and she's playing her best, she's not losing. She wasn't playing her best tennis. It was a good match, but she wasn't playing her best tennis at all.
But in these moments, I think one of the things you have did Serena there in many people's minds, and she's written that way, beast-like.
Yeah.
I read someone's piece that essentially called her a monster. I don't even know why anyone would even put that in.
Called her a monster.
Called her a monster in his piece, while he spent many times calling Muguruza elegant. Now, I don't know what anybody wants to say about that, but Muguruza is the new cow on ice, so I don't get that on so that's kind of weird to me. But I get the sentiments, right? The idea is that essentially all you need for someone to be competitive with Serena, and this is going to be hard for people to hear, is a wounded Serena. A wounded Serena is an equalizing factor for a lot of people on tour.
Because then you just still get your ass.
and then she'll still hand you your ass. But that's just something that people need to understand. A wounded older Serena is now essentially more beatable, and both her stands and the tour has to understand that. But that also, nothing to take away from the person who beats her, because it's always a hard out.
A win is still a win.
But this is what but what I don't appreciate is people wanting. What's been so interesting is how people wanted Serena to deal with her injury. We don't
get to decide how she deals with her injury, and we don't get to decide.
Tell her.
Bartoli was wrong. That's it. She was wrong. She abused her privilege of being part of the media and also being allowed to be in the locker room because she was playing. She should have kept her fucking mouth shut. And I don't know, the way Serena reacted to it, I bet she's going to hear about it. No doubt. I'd love to be a fly
Sarita,
on the
you know
wall
what
for
to
that.
punish Marianne Bartoli? Feed her. Feed her. Give her some fucking good Southern food.
No doubt.
Yeah, and
Hey.
and let's just say Marion Bartoli should not be doing on-court interviews. She's atrocious. She's not good. She's not good at all. She has no charm. I mean, yeah, whatever. She has zero charm, and the interviews are painful to watch, and they need to find somebody else to do that. And I know that's probably why she lost all that weight so she could be on TV, but and take on a whole different side of her career. But I've always loved Marion. I think she's always been a fighter in my mind. But that is not her skill set.
Right.
So I would appreciate
eat, girl, eat.
Let's talk to Twitter for a minute because I think we kind of just got called out a little bit, but
I'm sure we did.
Hashtag tennis says that we're so classist regarding the crowd in Paris. The Federer crowd was much more obnoxious in New York City, but you guys didn't say, oh, these are the cheap seats. Well, they weren't the cheap seats.
Yeah, because they actually paid for that. You can't get cheap seats.
But at the end of the day, I don't really care where you go in the world. The crowd is not going to pick Novak over Federer unless you're maybe in Serbia. Maybe. I don't even know about that, to be honest. I mean, everybody loves him. Everybody loves him everywhere he goes. Let's not forget the final where Federer lost, but the storyline was Rogers tiebreak. And he lost the damn match. Everybody loves him.
The greatest tiebreaker ever. Like people.
I don't. But the point is, I don't think we were trying to throw any shade by saying that. Just saying that it was a different crowd that you would probably typically get at a Grand Slam final and semifinal, given that the ticket prices were going for so low. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying it brings in a different audience. It just does.
It's like the Olympics crowd. It was like the Olympics crowd that was watching the final versus Federer. Andy Murray's final versus Federer at the Olympics.
They
not the crowd that was watching Wimbledon.
They weren't just rabid 4 weeks ago at Wimbledon.
Tennis people. No.
Yeah.
They weren't that rabid when they had that same final. They had that very same final.
Yes, hashtag tennis. Yes, I absolutely would love for tennis to be more accessible for everyone. I myself didn't think that I was ever going to be able to afford to go to a tennis tournament. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that when tennis is an expensive sport. It's an expensive sport to play. It is an expensive sport to attend. Ticket prices, foods on ground. It is expensive in general. And when you lower the prices and allow people in that typically can't get in, you get a different crowd. You don't know how they're going to react. You don't know if they're going to be obnoxious. I'm not saying, I don't think anybody here is saying that they were obnoxious because they were able to purchase tickets for cheap. I mean, the crowd last year loved Novak. They loved him. They brought him to tears when he was giving his acceptance speech when he lost. It's not a secret that this is where he gets the most love. It's not a secret at all, and good for him, because the truth is, he doesn't get it everywhere. He's the #1 player in the world, and rarely does he get the kind of attention from an audience that he got in Paris. It just doesn't happen.
Nice. I mean, which was noteworthy, which is why we noted it. Now we're like, well, why did that happen? I mean, even the commentators were noting that the crowd was filled with Serbian flags. I mean, that's why I said, did people take the train over? I don't know. Which would be noteworthy because he's going for a remarkable achievement. And which is weird though, because you would think that people would have taken the channel and just come over from London, but I guess they didn't even think Andy was going to win. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't really. I think when you have cheap tickets, you get a different crowd. Not to say one crowd is better, but it's a different audience. The question is, are they tennis fans or are they Novak fans? I've met many Novak fans who only show up to tennis tournaments to see Novak play, not realizing that guess what? There are other tennis matches you can watch a lot more. I mean, but think about it. That was like a really great thing because you came in and you got to watch one damn match and it's the final. It's a 4-set snoozer. But who cares whether it was
you got to watch history being made, and that's a big deal.
I was there when Mole beat Morris.
But for me, I think it's so weird though because it's like I was there when Novak got the career slam. It wasn't a fight. He was going to get it at some point. That's the thing about it. Like the thing about a title and history being made. Part of the history is that you didn't know it was going to happen. There was never any doubt that Novak was going to win a slam.
It might not have been this year, but you just have this feeling that it was going to happen. I mean,
it will happen next year.
Talk to a Federer fan. I don't think anybody was thinking he was ever going to get it. Ever.
I mean, because Rafa had that shit on lockdown.
Right.
Now you're having. I mean, there are no tournaments on lockdown anymore, and I think that's just the changing of the turn. It's just a changing of the tide in tennis.
Really?
It's okay.
But you really think that? Clarify yourself, because for me,
Roland Garros was on lockdown. No, but I'm just saying, Roland Garros was on lockdown for years. There was no way anyone was getting through that Rafa block. No way. None. It didn't happen. But now you have an aging Rafa and no one who's coming up who's as good on that single surface. There are no single surface specialists anymore. So what you really have is like open season on any of the slams. So what you have is, for the last 2 years, you've had Novak having his moment. You know, yes, Stan basically played out of his mind. Theoretically, but not really, because I don't remember Stan playing out of his mind to win that match. I thought it was, like, again, a subpar no-lay, but just Stan really just, like, redlining and was good. You know, won last year. And then this year, Stan was gone, and we'd already seen enough of Murray's 5-set encounters to really feel like that was a 60-40. There was no point in time when anybody thought that Andy Murray was going to launch a charge, and that if it got down to the nitty-gritty, that him going 5 sets early on in the tournament probably wouldn't come back and bite him in the ass. So, you know, it was just sort of an inevitable march. But getting to a finish line, even if you're running or sprinting, is still a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
a win is a win is a win.
I mean,
yeah.
Look at the money. Look at the check.
You know, Tony, cheer up, Buttercup. That's all I'm going to say.
Is he still upset about Serena?
Of course.
Listen, Serena's got 2 more chances. She got 2 more chances to nail 22. I mean, what you don't want is for her to try to be nailing 22 in the U.S. Open. Oof, that's what you don't want.
Right.
Okay, while we're on
pressure on
everybody. Serena stands, okay. Y'all need to chill the fuck out. Just chill. Chill the fuck out. Y'all too much.
No, Serena stands are like Rafa stands though. I mean, they've really had like a period of Serena winning slams often.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's weird when that shift is happening. It's gonna have to happen at some point. It's gonna have to, unless she does like a fucking who's that guy and just quit in the middle. It's going to happen.
Pete
there
Sampras?
Will be no, not Pete Sampras.
Bjorn
Borg. Borg. Unless you're gonna quit at the height, most people are going to. You're gonna have to.
Borg came back though. Bjorn came back.
Yeah, but I think she's already beyond. Nothing. But she's already beyond being able to pull a Borg. I don't even think that's a possibility.
But I mean, she could this year. Think about that. Then there would be no wait. Think about that. Like, that's what I mean. She won 3 last year, and everybody's freaking out because she's gone like half a year without any. Honey, Federer's gone how many years? 5, 6.
2012.
Venus. I mean,
Venus.
Yet somehow he's still number 3 in the world.
But what I'm just saying is, like, you.
Yes, solid like, number 3.
Well, you know what? That's just it. You're fucking spoiled. You're spoiled little brats. You're spoiled.
You've had 6 months without a slam.
Get over yourself. Everybody.
But this is new tennis, right? Back in the day, I mean, when you think of it, Martina Hingis only dominated 1 year in '97. And every other day she was scrambling her ass to even eke out one. That's the Australian Open. Lindsay Davenport only had 3 majors. Just 3. And she didn't win 2 of them in the same year. She did not. She showed up in many finals.
Spoiled. Just
relax. Serena got 21 fucking majors. That's 3 weeks of a major for you. You can go on to one every day. If you take out the weekends, you're still good. People relax. I've said
She's
this since last
year. 2 more
Serena's victories do not define you. It doesn't define your blackness. It doesn't define your esteem. It doesn't define your womanhood. It doesn't define your whiteness. It doesn't define your lack of being a racist. It don't define any of those fucking things. Serena being who she is just Serena Williams. It's just what it is. Nothing more than that. She's a tennis player. She just want to play tennis. Relax.
Well, listen, Emmanuel, did you not hear a fucking word we just said?
What did he say?
Did you not hear it? He says We just want 22, and then we can chill. Yes, we're spoiled.
No, y'all want chill.
No.
But it's okay if it never happens.
No, I get it though. I get it. They want 22 because they know that the number is very important to white audiences. I mean, I'll be straight up. I think that's what it is. The number is 22.
I would agree with that too.
22 is because you know what? Nobody talked about Margaret Court when I was growing up listening to tennis. Nobody cared. They were like, "What?" Yeah, it was like, when did we start dragging Margaret Court out here?
Peggy, Mother's Day Massacre, Peggy. I clocked you a long time, Peggy. Don't even. Let me try with you, trying to be some kind of preacher woman.
No, I mean, luckily for us, they can't drag anyone else out. So it's Margaret Court or else. So either Serena gets to Margaret Court, or everyone will be forever convinced that the person who dominated tennis was a white lady, and that's very, very important for a lot of people. This is going to make people upset, and I said it like that, but that's what it is. We constantly change these. We constantly change the barometer for certain champions because we want to make sure. We want to, what I mean? We want to make sure.
24. Even if Serena gets to 24, you know what they're going to be like? Well, Martina Navratilova got so many doubles and mixed doubles.
Yeah. Listen, people, records are made to be broken, and sometimes they hold up for a really, really long time. Sometimes you think that they're going to be so close, and, we all think
people, I'm telling you, for people,
chill.
I assure you, chill. Like, there is nothing, we have been... you just read any newspaper about Serena, any article. Read what it's gonna say. You know that you can convince some people of Serena's greatness or lack thereof. You cannot.
Listen, I had an online exchange with someone who essentially trashed the entire WTA tour just to explain why Serena was the champion. I watched it all unfold in front of me. I was like, okay, I guess that's what's going on then. This is what it's about, and I hope she can just enjoy the run and the ride and having good form at 34 and not retiring, and I don't know. I've been really thinking about this because Muhammad Ali died this week. And it's funny because he died and then Serena's final was the next day, and it was a weird sort of thing to watch unfold because in that moment I was really looking at it and everybody's like, go, go, go. I'm like, obviously the greatest player ever or the greatest athlete ever is Muhammad Ali. Nobody can take that. It is what it is. Sorry, you can try to create it in other sports, but he's that. And so when you watch Serena perform, you have to sort of be amazed that this 34-year-old woman has gotten to 2 Grand Slam finals.
Take a minute and live in the moment.
Yeah, competing with these young people who they are constantly celebrating and telling you is the shit, when they basically are they're still treading water against a 34-year-old. Okay,
and their victory is only defined
by her,
by Serena.
Do we not remember the tweet? I made you.
She made all those people.
She made all those people speaking truth.
But that's the thing. Every single one of those people are being defined by the fact that they were able to triumph over Serena at 33 and at 34. That's how your legacy is built. So, we just have to kind of she's got two more chances. I hope she gets to 22 for you, but I certainly hope that if she doesn't get to 22, this doesn't become a kind of like spiral.
Right. But what I don't like, two things I don't like. People start hating on Serena and saying she's embarrassing and what Remy and
that's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
You can't say those things.
You don't do this. This is sport. Nothing is guaranteed in sport. Okay? Michelle Kwan don't have an Olympic gold medal. She doesn't. Nope.
She's still the best thing that ever. She's still the best skater ever.
The best thing to happen to figure skating. Now that she's gone, who checking for you now, Kim? Who checking? Nobody. Checking for the Russian. Nobody. Okay? It's just that Serena is more than just a sport. That's what makes her so great. That's why Sports Illustrated give her Sports Person of the Year. Not a fucking horse, not Nole, because Serena transcends tennis. She transcends all of that, so she don't need 22. And I assure you, even if Serena wins 30 majors, you know what will happen? They're going to talk about that U.S. Open semifinals against Kim Clijsters, though. She ain't all that. She's...
Right.
there's always going to be something, because it's very clear that like for some people they don't want to accept what it is, and also a prophet is never great in his own land, and sometimes we appreciate champions when they're no longer around. So maybe while Serena is here, they just don't they just deal with it.
Preach.
But when she leaves the sport and there's nobody there, and Miss Meldonium may come back after her 5-minute break. But I assure you, keeping it 100 is just not. I mean, like, even look at Venus. Venus winning a little 125, a little tournament here or there, whatever. Venus wins Zoo High. And look at how Venus transcends the sport. Everyone is excited and whatever the case may be. It's just the way it is. It's just like sometimes when people just like, this old bitch, what the fuck she do? She's like 36 years old. And everybody's getting depressed. It's just the way some things are. And Serena don't need 21, 22 majors. I've always said that she didn't need the calendar slam. She don't need any of those things. She's who she is. She's a great tennis player.
She is the dominant champion.
I mean, like, she has
for men and women. I hate to say it. Sorry, Nole. And Fed. But she's the dominant tennis player of the decade. She has been. And that's just what it is. And people feel uncomfortable with that. She's not your fave. And you know what? Listen, she's not my fave. Venus is my fave.
Just suck salt, people. I'm telling you something. And here's another thing to put.
So sad. But that's just how it is.
Here's another thing to just let you people know. Serena is so great. She's beating her contemporaries' proteges.
Who are being coached by them.
Exactly. She's beating her contemporaries' proteges.
Think about that for a minute. Think about that.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Serena's beating up people who are being coached by her nemesis.
Exactly.
Or nemesis.
Exactly. Send in messages to let you know. Bitch, even if you had come on this call, I would have dealt with you still. That's how great I am. Still great, and I'm old.
But you know what? And she's got 2 more chances for the year. And she's got the Olympics as well. So, I mean, I can understand Serena stands. I hope she gets to the 22 for you. Because just like I hope Fed gets to 18, because I have my own standing. And I hope Venus, I hope Venus takes 1 more for the team. But, we get it. But I do want to say, though, that for the people who trash Serena, you guys have to check yourself. That doesn't make any sense.
Before you wreck yourself. Wreck you.
Yeah,
because
we understand the hunger, but no trashing of somebody who's achieved so much.
YouTube has made it so wonderful that you could relive all of these moments. So when I see Miss Meldonium out there talking about, like, I'm so happy to be back in 5 minutes, I just queue up that 2012 Olympic finals, and I'm good. I'm good. Because she can talk the talk, and she can do whatever she wants. I mean, I got more money, but bitch, you suck at your job. You suck at your job.
Can we insert? So, can we talk about that though for a second though? Can we talk about that, Janina? Before we hit fashion?
Yes.
Can we talk about the Sharapova shirt and how that is the height of something that makes me want to take her aside and say, I understand why you're doing this, and I know your fans are all about this, but this is extremely insulting. Mm-hmm. It is extremely insulting for a player who has tested positive for a banned substance. Listen, I'm not even talking about the time you were taking it when it was legal and might have been dodgy. I'm talking about 2016. You have tested positive for a banned substance. You do not put out a shirt that says back in 5 minutes. That is disrespectful.
Well, and you know what?
Go ahead.
And it's disrespect to the players on the sport, because you all abide by a certain rule, and for you to sort of like put that sort of tongue-in-cheek shirt out, I'm sorry. Everybody knows I'm a Pova fan. I love all the oldies, and I love the energy that she and Serena brings to the tour, but that is just not on. I felt like that is just utterly disrespectful of that entire
low-key. That is craven. That is just craven behavior.
But why are people just now talking about it? Because we didn't just see the shirt for the first time this week. At least I didn't.
Well, I saw the shirt, but I didn't even realize the shirt was like hers. I've seen the shirt, but I didn't even take it seriously. It's when she started putting it on her timeline and retweeting people wearing it. That's when I realized that this was some sort of informal campaign that she's running. Not running, I guess, because it's a shirt you can buy, right?
This is why I've always said, from this whole thing, people, whatever, Maria is full of shit. Because you stood up in your press conference and the first thing out of your mouth after saying that you tested positive for Meldonium or Mildronat, I take full responsibility for this shit. And since that moment, you have not taken responsibility for anything. You have gone on about, oh, I didn't get the message. You showed all the paperwork and all this bullshit. Maria, come on, girl. This is such bullshit. This is disrespectful.
So we have somebody on Twitter clarifying that it's not a shirt that she's promoting, right? Because that is something I think would be really troubling. This notion that apparently it's a shirt
she's promoting the shirt.
No, but she's promoting it on her timeline, but it's not a shirt that's like made by Sharapova and you buy it at Sharapova.com or something. It's actually just a Zara shirt that I guess everybody's now wearing in support of her. Because otherwise,
that would be just more T-shirt love team. Come on here now. No, Maria is part of this. She's part of this.
I'm gonna have to.
Maybe not formally, but she's definitely informally part of this and made this into something.
Apparently, it's a T-shirt from Zara that she wore, but regardless,
Maria, don't do anything.
Take that shit off, girl. Take it off.
Maria, don't do anything for free. Somebody tell me when and where this is happening. She's doing something for free.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't like it, and I'm not, that's just.
Maria,
it makes a mockery. It makes a mockery of the entire process, and it looks bad. Even if that wasn't her intention, it looks horrible.
So when she comes back, her fans, because the fans don't care. Fans don't care if you dope to win. They don't really. Real fans should, but they don't care because a lot of the people who are sort of raging about Maria. They haven't even come to terms with the idea that this person doped. I think we all have to internalize and deal with that in our own way, and that's fine. But this be back in 5 minutes. That's just disrespectful. It's disrespectful.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I just think it's disrespectful to the sport you love. It's not even about fandom. At this point in time, it's just disrespectful for a process that tries to keep the sport clean. So yeah, be upset with WADA, be whatever, but to say that somebody's going to be back in 5 minutes after breaking the rules, those people screaming that Nole should have been disqualified for throwing a racket or all those kinds of things, you don't have any leg to stand on when you're okay with that shirt. So, that's just
Thank you.
On that.
Thank you. You got a round of applause. You see, I got some words for that situation, but they ain't as nice as yours. And it's somebody's Sabbath today, and this is a Christian podcast. Just saying it. Moving on. While we're on the subject of Olympics, I just gotta say, I have a question, ladies. Is Serbia gonna put out a letter to Nole like Australia put out a letter to Nick Kyrgios? Because I know. If Nick got 16 pages. If Nick got 16 pages. Nick got 16 pages over someone drunk driving. I don't want to think weapons charges, but definitely some dodge. It's weapons charges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nick got 16 pages. Did nothing criminal.
Explain your behavior.
Done nothing criminal, people.
Listen, he got a letter. He got a letter from the Australian Olympic Committee, I believe it was, telling him that he needs to explain himself. Here's a list of things that you have done, and you need to explain yourself, basically, if you want any shot of being part of the Olympic team. And that is why he put out the letter basically saying, fuck you, Australia, I'm not even going to be available for the team. And they come back with, well, he's not the only one that's gotten this letter. So-and-so got it, this person got it, Leighton Hewitt got it way before. I guarantee you it wasn't no fucking 16 pages long.
Listen, what are they saying in that? What are they saying in that?
Hey, listen, everybody, I asked Nick to come on the podcast and talk to us about that letter. So go on and
just read the letter. Just read the letter. That's all we want.
Read the letter.
That's all we want.
What do you think is in the 16 pages? But let's be honest. Let's just put it out there.
The real
for
question
Australia.
is, what do you think this 16 pages is really trying to say?
We don't want you. That's what it says.
No,
what I want to know, piss you off so that you do walk away.
But what I want to know is, I don't understand the Olympics. Listen, I have some problems with the Olympics. Janina loves it. I used to love it. I'm over it. So I'm going to let you know right now. You cannot make a stand about the Olympics when the Olympics is mired in unethical bullshit. So I just need Australia to explain to me, what does it mean for them when they say that he needs to represent the flag well? Because I feel like there is a little bit of anti-immigration thing that's happening with Australia, and it should check itself. That's all. I mean, I don't really. What are you going to tell me one better?
This is not even having to do with immigration. Just having to do with people who are not looking like white people. And then you people could say I'm racist, but I got my receipts. In 2000, Kathy Freeman won the 400 meters for Aborigine. The Prime Minister, then, John Howard, said, I'm not apologizing to the Aborigine people for what Australia's history. Nope, not happening. But we're all here for cheer Kathy Freeman to win an Australian gold medal for us. But know what? We ain't give two shits about the Aborigine people. So this ain't have nothing to do with just Nick.
So do you think that
but Nick is Australian, which is funny because that's.
Well, wait. Do you think? But he's not the Australian they like. He's not. He's too brown. But do they? I mean, is this about? What about Leighton Hewitt? Because Leighton Hewitt was not a fun child. So do you think he got 16-page letters?
Hell no, he didn't get a 16-page letter.
The woman said in the response that the guy who was the drunk driving cover-up on the weapon charges, they got let up, but theirs didn't get 16 pages. And Nick didn't do anything criminal. Nothing even remotely criminal.
Y'all heard of that? You heard of that term, like driving while black and stuff like that. I mean, maybe that's, I don't know.
And she wasn't, what I found was so interesting is the confidence she came out and made a response. And she didn't even see we look kind of stupid here. We look really fucking stupid. What's even worse is that Tennis Australia isn't even checking for Nick. They're not even in Nick's face about Nick's supposedly bad behavior. I do not understand this.
Here's the thing that's really sad about this whole situation. He is their best player, and you are essentially excluding him from any chances that you've got at a medal for your country. Who are you going to send? Who are you going to send?
I love my boo-boo Samuel Grock. I love my boo-boo Samuel.
He ain't winning nothing.
No, he's not. Just not, boo. Maybe in doubles, boo. But, boo, you're not getting out that single second round.
Leighton coming out of retirement again? I mean,
come on. But you know what? You know what? Let me tell you something. This is how evil and crazy Realz mind work. I think Leighton Hewitt orchestrated that letter. He wants to play on the Olympics.
Oh, no. He's supposed to be on Nick's side. Look at your machinations. Come on, man.
All right.
You mean like a parent who orchestrates something bad for their kids so that kids
I want to be wrong, but I'm almost sure
Oh.
Leighton Hewitt is going to be in green and gold, not in the coach sideline as the Davis Cup captain, but he's going to be on the field of play. How much money we want to bet? How much money? Let's put some money on it. Ladies?
I'm not betting you, but I'm here for, the ride.
I'm telling you. I'm not saying, I would take that back. I will walk back a little bit of it. Leighton Hewitt may not have orchestrated that later. Maybe not. Maybe let me walk it back a little bit just to see. Maybe he may have just been a whisper. Just a mere whisper,
You're horrible.
I don't know what to say, but I bet you any money he's going to put himself there. Meanwhile, as we're talking about putting ourselves in places, Tommy Haas is now the tournament director for Indian Wells.
What?
You know what I love about that?
Indian Wells.
Did he actually
I want you to try to explain to me something. Let me just get right. Okay? Just tell me if I'm wrong here. So y'all got rid of an old South African because, he was acting all misogyny and, saying these inappropriate things about the ladies. And we got a Trump stand to run the Indian Wells. Is that how it works?
Listen though, what did I tell you about Indian Wells? When I reviewed that tournament, what did I say about that tournament? I said I love that tournament. I loved that tournament, actually. It was a great place to go, but that tournament is swiftly becoming a tournament that is exclusive and really meant for people who have lots of cash. That is what I said that tournament was becoming.
And meanwhile, Tommy Haas looking to try to give himself a wild card into the tournament.
No, he did not say that. He did not say that.
Tommy Haas is looking to be Indian Wells to be his last place to play.
Okay,
that's
well.
A rumor on Twitter.
Well, that's a rumor. We're not gonna give that any kind of substance because it'd be really dodgy to try to get a wild card to a tournament that you're the director of.
Listen to me. It might be really dodgy to you. It might be really dodgy to me. But to these folks, it's all right. It's all right.
I just want to know what qualifies. I just want to know what makes
tournament director.
Run this tournament. A tournament director. Like I didn't understand that you could do current player still playing hop, skip, and a jump tournament director. Although I think for a brief spell, wasn't that the case with Ferrer's tournament? The tournament that he owns, but he wasn't a tournament director. He just owns that tournament and plays at the tournament.
What?
So
that just seems so unethical.
That's a Valencia tournament. But you do what you got to do. I mean, I think what I think it's really interesting. I really do think that people don't ask themselves the serious question about. I mean, I have had a sort of side conversation. Conflicts of interest is just how it is, because when you have a small world like tennis, conflict of interest is part of tennis. It is what it is. And they really believe that they're able to compartmentalize their minds and it doesn't have an influence. I mean, they're really amazing if they're able to do that. I don't really believe. I mean, I don't understand anyone who thinks they can. Because let me tell you something. If I'm running a tournament and my brother is a tennis player and I run a tournament, my brother is getting into that tournament by hook or by crook. I mean, it's just the way it is. I don't know how you think it's
always by crook. Come on, let's be 100 here.
Or
you disappear, Andre.
I don't understand. Oh, sorry. They curry favor to you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, like even if you say you're not having an influence, you're having an influence. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. No, I agree.
But you know what?
It's not entirely clear that Tommy is even what we would like to call a feminist.
Well,
wow.
I don't know what his issues are. I don't know where he stands. No, I don't really know. No, I don't know where he stands on women's issues either, because from what we've learned, the men's tour is not always copacetic with the women's tour.
Meanwhile, Tommy has.
So who's to say that a player? Anywho,
you know what, Indian Wells?
News.
All I want is to see Tommy's resume. That's it. I want to see Tommy's resume.
I just want to throw in there because we missed a comment earlier.
When I say I want to see Tommy's resume, I don't mean something I could check on the ATP website, boo. Nope. I don't want to see his win-loss circuit and he was a former number 2 player. I don't need to see that shit. I already know that. I want to see his resume, and you tell me what makes Tommy Haas so uniquely qualified to be the tournament director over there, and why he's going to be so much better than Richard Moore and do a better job. Because apparently Richard Moore was doing an excellent job. He just said something at the wrong time at the wrong place. Or perhaps to the wrong person. Y'all have a leak in y'all little press room, people.
Okay, so this is the thing. I'm going to respond to somebody on Twitter that essentially basically said, you know what, that is why they want Serena to get to 22, because they're uncertain how the white media is going to tell her story. Let me just quick answer. The white media will not tell her story. So there will never come a time when the media will tell Serena's story in a way that's going to make you happy. We just saw how the media attempted to tell Muhammad Ali's story. They never tell our stories if we are the center of the story. It will always have to be reframed in whiteness. It just has to be. That is how they tell their story. Do you watch any movie
any lately? Do you watch it? Just letting you know.
No, I mean, it's just the white mainstream media cannot tell a story that does not have them at the center. it is impossible for them to do that. So if you think that Serena achieving 22 or even 24 is going to allow her to be centered, it will not happen. So quick answer, it's not going to happen. So wanting it for her.
You know what's going to be the new story when she gets 26 or 28 or wherever she end up getting? Here are the people who've beaten her the major.
Yes, that's going to be the storyline because
your greatness, their greatness is now going to be redefined. They're gonna get career weave. They're gonna get some career weave, some extension, and to extend that, you're gonna see people show. You're gonna see Angelique Kerber in the Tennis Hall of Fame because I beat Serena and Melbourne.
Oh my God, is there gonna be a whole wall of I beat Serena? Let's not go there.
I mean, but that's anyway. So that's just a quick answer to someone on Twitter. Mm-hmm.
So I was given a challenge, and I'm going to address that really quick. Okay. It's kind of silly, but I was asked to do this. I had a conversation with at Lady Bellatrix and at WrestleNear the other day about the word y'all, right? And they had a really hard time saying it with a British accent. So here I am sitting in my living room going, does it work? Does it work? I think it does. So I've been asked to say y'all in a British accent.
I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
So for our lady listeners that have asked me to say this word, I'm telling y'all it's possible.
Y'all? I don't think it's possible. I don't know what that British accent was.
Is it British appropriation?
It's my British accent. British appropriation. I don't have one.
What's going on here? What's going on here? Last week, you done come from Stanley telling Stanley that, you know, like... He got issues, developmental issues. Now this week is British appropriated.
This is what we do here, right?
You need to go in a corner, okay? You need to check yourself. Okay?
I gotta go in timeout.
Okay, Janina, I check my feed. Check your feed before we move on to any other topics before we close this out.
Oh,
let's see here. Miss Lady Bellatrix says she's waiting for a conspiracy theorist to say that Roger's putting in his friends so he can run the ATP.
Well, that's the reason.
Look, let me just tell those conspiracy theorists out there, okay? If Roger shows up at the ATP headquarters and say, "I want to run this shit," I guarantee you,
he's running it.
Roger to know. Roger can easily lead a revolution on the man and be like, "We're walking. Either Roger is the head of this shit. We're good." Roger could even run the WTA.
No, nobody's doing that.
Nobody's doing that.
Anna
Roger
says that she bets also that Maria's pissed that it wasn't one of her endorsements, that shirt, and that she's not making any money of it.
I assure you she is.
We're not allowed to know about that, though.
Yeah, you need to show me the receipts, Reels. So and just sort of closing up this Maria Sharapova section, I believe that we should be hearing about the outcome from her case, I think, sometime this week. I mean, she's going to have to get some answers before Wimbledon rolls around. So I'm assuming something will drop either Monday morning, right after so that, you know, we can take a little bit of the shine off of Novak's poor career slam. That'll be a shame. So I'm looking for that news. I think that's what's going to come out. And we are also going to try to figure out what happened with Jeannie's case. Please remind us of that, fans. Jeannie's court case. We don't have an answer about that case.
No idea.
We have any other thing? Because I just want to address a couple comments and whatever.
Sure.
So I noticed Reason is unbreakable. I don't know if it's you and somebody else, and maybe because I know sometimes there are people who use the same IP address and come with different profile. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Nothing I love more than a hater who is just got time on their hand. Ain't nothing better. But, you know, so Reason is unbreakable. You put a comment and say, you know, okay, I'll try it one more time. Every time you mention white privilege, you're being racist.
Okay.
Google racism and try to put it together. Anyway, like your podcast and wish you all the best. You will succeed because unlike the other tennis podcasts, you're funny, especially Reels. Good luck. I appreciate the compliment, but I just gotta say, you can't be racist and funny. You're just not. Okay?
No.
So you trying to come for us and saying that we're racist and then we're funny? No,
okay, but
no,
we
because ain't nobody thinking about the Gestapo being funny. Like, oh my God, the Gestapo being...
No, that's not a defense, Reels. We have to... Let me just explain to you something. White privilege is when we point out how racist structures support one group over another. That's what we mean when we are identifying white privilege. Let me ask you, do you think there's male privilege? Do you think there's certain circumstances where males are just automatically given a pass? That is what we're talking about. We're talking about structures. It doesn't have to be you. So if you are a white male at home, we're not talking to you. We're talking about structures. We're talking about legal structures. We're talking about media structures. We're talking about organizational structures. So when people hear white privilege, please don't get confused. It's not you personally, white person. It is structures are in place to help you thrive more than others. If you can't recognize that, then you know what? The sky is not the same color in our world. That's just one of those things that we are going to have to agree to disagree on right there and then. That's what we mean. So when people hear white and then they hear privilege and they take it personally, just like we think that there are heterosexist privilege. If you can't admit that the world is harder for someone who's non-heterosexual, I don't even understand how we can have a conversation. That's what we mean when we talk about privilege. Certain things are normative. It's normative, and so therefore it's made easier.
And let me just give you an example of white privilege, white male privilege to be exact, white male heterosexual privilege to be exact. I don't know if you follow American media, but this guy, this unattractive guy from Stanford.
Oh, we can't even get into the rape thing.
But I just want to just put a perfect example of what white male heterosexual privilege looks like. He raped an unconscious woman, raped her. They have the witnesses. Thank God there were two white people, because God knows, because his defense was that the people who were stopping him from raping the woman, he thought they were going to attack him. So God forbid if it were brown people there, that might have been a legitimate defense. He gets 6 months. He was convicted for rape, and the judge says, we don't want to mess up his life any more than it already has to be. He's not a danger to anybody. So there you go, people. That is exactly what white male heterosexual privilege look like. If you can't see that as what that is, and when we talk about white privilege, that somehow, for example, when we say about Maria getting a special pass, even though she's a doper, and how it would look completely different, the fact that if it was Serena or Venus or Sloane or Vanya King, if you don't understand when we talk about white privilege, why is it that Nick Kyrgios got 16 pages and the people who were almost drunk driving and covering up got less than 16 pages, and Nicholas did nothing criminal? As Andre said, we can't have this conversation. I'm happy that you're listening to the podcast, but we are going to disagree. We're going to have to agree to disagree. In fact, I'm not even agreeing to disagree. I'm not even just listening to you.
No, but I
can't even have a conversation.
POTUS says we have to listen to those we disagree with. So we will, but I think that if that's a place that this podcast comes from, this podcast comes from a place where we understand that there is privilege for various groups, and we ourselves are privileged as American citizens in many ways, even though we are Black Americans. So we all work with privilege. We all have to understand those dynamics are playing out. So it's
you better think about where you're coming from if when we talk about it you feel offended.
And also I think someone mentioned the fact that like we are racist because we hate. Oh, this is classic. We are racist because we hate Nole and Rafa. And the only reason why we don't hate on Roger is because Roger fans will come after us. What? No. I just have, there are tons of perfectly good white people who don't like Rafa and don't like Vidal.
And you know what?
Who don't like Vidal and Nole. And I don't think you can call them racist. And they're perfectly good white people who hate Roger Federer. And I don't think they're racist.
It has nothing to do with that. We just
they
have
may be
preferences.
racist, but they're not racist for that reason. Just letting you know. And then in that same conversation, that person then went on to talk about Serena and not respecting European tradition and how Venus. Then you just showed true colors right there.
You showed your European privilege, and that's okay, because in some ways in your mind you believe that Europe is the center of the universe. So if I decenter Europe, that's going to feel uncomfortable for you. But guess what? every place that is based somewhere can center themselves.
Exactly.
And it's going to sound really weird. If I centered something around the U.S., you'd be really upset, but you want to center it around Europe. That's okay, because you believe that Europe is the height of civilization. Some people would give that a side eye. But all I'm saying in this conversation is that we're simply bringing those things up because this is our observation. I mean, it's fine if you want to throw the term racist around. I don't think that we've ever labeled anyone racist. I think what we've done is labeled situations racist, and we've asked people to challenge their racial assumptions or racist assumptions, but we've never said, blah, this person's a racist, and I've never said anyone's a sexist, because you know what? I've often been very careful about throwing around sexism and all of those terms and labeling people. Every single one of us encounter and say racist, sexist, homophobic things in our lives because that's the society we live in. So it's not okay to just sort of throw that label at somebody, but we also have to be really careful and pull out racist and sexist traits when we see them.
Tropes.
And tropes, actually, yes, tropes when we see them. And those things exist in sport. It is not okay to constantly write about Serena as a monster. It is not okay to do that, and it's not okay to contrast
okay to be trying to talk about Serena being hidden power and Garbina is killing the ball all day. Like, seriously.
I mean, Garbina was hitting the ball as hard. So why won't we call that power play? Why is that not animalistic? You need to check those things when you start writing, and everyone does it, and it's easy. It's an easy trope to slip into. We all do it, so we all have to try to pull back a little bit. But when mainstream media does it and sells that, it's ridiculous. For the Nole fans out there, you can also point to the ways that Novak Djokovic has been characterized in contrast to Roger Federer. You can point to those, and I might even go down that road with you, because there are certain animalistic characterizations of Novak that might be because he's Eastern European. We can unpack that, but
not today.
Not today. Anyway,
and I'm gonna tell y'all
all of that.
I'm gonna tell y'all that my white mama don't really like the fact that you're talking about her daughter being a racist.
Well.
Okay, just let her know.
That's it.
So moving on to lighter times, lady. We're just keeping it light. We're just keeping it light here. Just light refreshments, okay?
Yeah, light refreshments. Okay.
Thank you, Yvette. Thank you.
Thank you.
A couple comments going on here. I just wanna say, Kat loves tennis. There will be a whole wall of I Beat Serena players at the Hall of Fame, cackling too funny, sadly true, and I believe that soon will be coming back. I mean, Emmanuel, y'all speaking on it, it's hashtag privilege. We hear you. Sharapova, a cat loves tennis. Thank you for listening, apparently. Maria Sharapova is a low life. I think she is behind the T-shirt, and the WT needs to step in. Hashtag dope.
Football tennis says that Google Maps couldn't identify my geographical location based on my British accent. So I guess every time failed.
That's from foreign Ohio. I'm telling y'all, it's a foreign place.
Ohio is not like any place else. So anyway,
someone else left a comment. Lovely drama girl, one of our faithful listeners left a comment, but unfortunately, I can't get to it. I don't know what's happening. It's not allowing me to see the
comments keep appearing and disappearing.
Yeah.
We're not ignoring you, but that's what's happening. No, I've noticed it too. So I'm sorry. Thanks for listening, but your stuff keeps popping in and out. Tony, thank you. We know you love the black people.
Oh my God.
Okay, I have it now. Let's face it, lovely drama girl. Let's face it, for several weeks, Maria has basically been trolling all the tournament that she has been unable to participate in, only via Instagram. Oh, that shade is real. Has anyone seen the picture of her as Montmartre before the French, posing on clay during Charleston? This is also declassé and catty, yet so hostile. Yes, I would agree. She is a petty girl.
No. Listen. On tour and petty, so I might have to just deal with her when she's off the tour and petty. So because let's be real honest, you all are missing that energy, aren't you? I know I saw somebody begging for Sharapova to come back and meet Serena in finals again.
These Serena stands will just like Maria come back and whatever. If I'm not mistaken, Serena's only beaten Maria in 2 finals, if I'm not mistaken, right? And they were both Australian Open.
It's been a long time.
Well, she usually has to
she
get
did
there.
beat Maria this year at the Australian Open quarterfinals and still didn't win. So Maria's presence is not necessary for Serena's dominance.
Stop breaking people's hearts.
And
Anywho,
Lovely Drama Girl said, "Is this a time management issue for Murray? I mean, is this the difference between the best of 3 versus best of 5 set?" Ooh.
You know what?
Rome
it's not.
Versus Roland Garros.
No.
Sometimes I feel as if Murray revert back to telegraphing his strokes, which Nole reads like a book. It's true. Whenever Murray is in trouble, he starts groaning, and you know he's on the rope. He's like,
It's like true. It's so true.
It's not time management.
You know when he's on the back foot.
It's not time management, Lovely Drama Girl. It's
maybe mental fatigue caused him to revert back to his standard style, which is easy for Novak to play again.
Novak gives up in Masters.
You mean Murray? You mean gives up?
No, not Murray. Novak does hard in Masters finals anymore. He uses Masters finals to assess his opponents, to see what game plan they're bringing.
Cincinnati.
That is what he does. The tension can rise. At this point in time, Novak Djokovic has no interest in securing the Masters before the major slam. That's not the point. The point, I believe, is to assess what the opponent is throwing at him. And sometimes he's willing to take a loss for the bigger picture.
Yes,
I think in Rome, he could have fought the good fight. He did it against Kay. He dragged that match out against Kay just to secure that win, to let Kay know that you're not going to get on top of me. And then in the final against Murray,
that U.S. Open 2014 semifinal.
Exactly, reminding him, you know what, you took me out.
Get in line, bro. Get in line.
Yep, you didn't get in line. And he does that whenever. But I really believe that in Rome, it was very strategic for him to say, you know what, I'm not gonna waste all of my energy, because that's what he's done. He's wasted his energy on his opponents in Rome. He did it with Rafa. He did it the year before. And then what happens? He comes to Roland Garros and it's splat. He gives up everything on the court. I think it was a strategic loss. That sounds really weird and horrible, but I thought it was a strategic loss for him. Just not to just expend too much energy out there,
and not to show his hand also.
And to see what Murray had to offer. You know what I mean? And then, but think about it. In that match, aside from the first set when he was nervous because he's about to achieve his dream, and he knew it, because there was no way. I mean, realistically, if you minus the first set, that's a straight setter right there.
Right.
And he was not bothered by Murray, anything that Murray threw at him, which was probably all of the strategy that Murray tried in.
Even the drop shots were better. Murray did a drop shot. No, they come back. His drop shot was better.
Yeah. So he figured out the strategy Murray was going to try with him. Took it, gave it to Boris. They sat around, figured out how to negotiate that. He knew he was going to have no problems getting through the other players. He gets to the final, and there's no surprises when you play a person that you play all the time. That's one of the things I think that's really different about Novak and how he's managed the rivalry of the same four. By the time Novak gets to the final, he knows who those people are. It's not a surprise for him what they're going to bring out there.
Yeah, because we know nobody new showing up on the men's side.
I know. And so it's the same thing that happened, to my mind, it's the same thing that happened at the World Tour Finals with Federer. Same thing that happened to him in Cincy. He figured out Federer's game plan in Cincy, used it for the U.S. Open final. Figured out what was going to happen at the World Tour Finals in the semis, and used it in the final.
Not in the semis.
Not in the semis. In the round robin. In the round robin. That's personally my take on how Novak has been handling his rivals. He's strategic, figures out the new shifts in their game, takes a good loss every now and then. It's respectable and decent. And then when it matters, he doesn't lose. Think about that. When it really matters, he doesn't lose. The World Tour Finals, there was no chance for Federer in that final. None.
Hey, and you know what? Credit to him, because that's kind of a really smart way to go.
It's very smart.
Particularly since you know who the people are going to be showing up.
And you know what? For all of you, I'm going to repeat myself. That's smart for Novak. I'm saying something nice.
You know what, Janita? I'm gonna give you a round of how big of you. You are growing. You are growing, lady. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
All right, let's wrap it
anyway,
up.
moving on to the fashion.
Do we want to end on a fun note? The fashion.
Yes, the fashion. Yes.
Who did we love?
Let
me see. Who did we love? Who did we love? Let's start with what we love first, because what we hate is always so much more fun.
I love Federer. Whatever kit Federer was gonna wear, I was gonna love it.
That's some bullshit right there.
I don't know what it was gonna look like.
You know what though? You know what though? Can I just say though, it was a really nice blue. It was a really nice blue. Okay.
I just had to do myself. Just
that was hilarious.
You are such an ass.
That was some straight up federal privilege right there.
Oh my god.
I just knew I was gonna love it. It just got me. I want one. I want one so badly.
You know what I loved, and I feel like I'm the only one that loved it. I loved Stan. His bright ass.
No,
I loved it.
I'm already watching clear where I can't see the ball. I'm not supposed to be wearing sunglasses to watch you.
I enjoy it. It was much, and you know, it was much better than them shorts that looked like PJs last year. But I liked it. I legit liked it.
But apparently those shorts which looked like PJs was giving them mojo, right?
Oh,
and Venus, maybe he needed some ugly pants again this year.
Venus looked fabulous.
Venus looked great.
Nice dress. Classic dress, good line, good look. And actually, you know what? I mean, Garbine's outfit for her body type, that looked very nice. I didn't love it, but it was respectable.
Not even hearing that. Not even hearing that.
You know what?
I
liked it. I liked it fine.
So
I didn't love it.
All of you on Twitter as well. We're asking you the same question. Give us your favorite fashions as well.
Garbine looked like she was wearing yellow plastic bag.
Stop it. She did not.
I mean, but why is there holes in the bottom of the skirt? Why? There's like 3 rows of holes. Like, why?
It was for airflow.
No.
She gotta keep her coocher cooled off.
No. I don't know why the extreme heat and temperature coming on today, because I nearly see every woman wearing underwear, then wearing pants, then wearing leggings. Like,
oh my god!
But in most of the women's fashion, you have to give them, you have to also give them judge it differently, because most of them could barely wear their kit.
I know, it's just too cold.
Serena tried to come out trying to look cute and sexy to find out she was like, oh girl, you better go get a sweater. You better go put on a sweater right now, because you're about to catch pneumonia out here.
Realz, you've been told to check your Federer privilege.
Look, y'all out there trying it, but it's gonna be true. Whatever Federer's gonna wear, it was gonna look fly. Federer just never not look fly.
Okay. You know who looked nice? That I feel like looks super boring all the time, and how appropriate was actually Novak. I didn't mind his kit. It wasn't all white or all stupid. It had some color.
Nice. It was burgundy.
Something red, burgundy. I don't know, but it was all right.
Is this week's question? Like, I don't know which hand was damaged. Like, I don't remember what he was wearing.
Oh my god! I just remember thinking, gosh, it's nice to see him in some color, because, I mean, I don't know. He and Murray are pretty much black, white, beige.
Football, tennis.
Nothing about those two.
Skirt.
Yeah. Nothing about those two.
Who?
What two?
I said nothing about those two, like you said, Janina, are good. Their fashions are just black. They're like against the wall. They're blah. The designs are never changing. Under Armour. But it's like that safe outfit. It's like a safe suit. You put it on. There's nothing objectionable about it, but then there's nothing that you remember about it either.
Oh,
so,
God,
no
Maya, no. Maya, no.
What? What did
no.
She say?
She liked that zebra shit, but not on the men.
Oh, my God.
I hated that shit.
How could I forget?
You know what?
I can't believe
Maya,
I forgot that.
Maya,
The zebra?
Look. I saw Ben Roethlisberger trying to tell me that there's some inspiration for some boat. We do not dress people like vehicles. We do not dress people like modes of transportation. Okay? People do not supposed to dress like shit. Okay, so I don't need to see a Titanic-inspired outfit. Okay, that shit look ridiculous. I'm both the men, I'm both the women. I mean, it's just everybody. Meanwhile, Thomas Burdage.
Which one, the zebra?
Oh, good Jesus! If we're gonna call it zebra, because. Well, if it was zebra, I'm telling you, zebras. You just a whole bunch of lions just came and ate your asses up because none of you Adidas people did shit.
Well, that's exactly what they all.
Except Gabby. Gabby came out in this yellow cream puff bullshit.
Listen, you know who looks good? Feliciano Lopez's top was very nice.
Feliciano Lopez can come out wearing a goddamn garbage
come out
bag.
in toilet paper and still
come on. We can't talk about him.
Can we talk about the unpleasant nature of J Mac's commentary about Feliciano Lopez? That it was bordering on slightly pornographic.
I didn't see it.
He was definitely trolling poor Feliciano Lopez. I think you can't help but notice that he fills out outfits very well. That's just I mean, I think J Mac couldn't help noticing it. He kept remarking on Feliciano Lopez.
I keep telling y'all J Mac lost his way because he was had a little man crush on when Bianborg left. No, we don't have time for that.
Bring back the short shorts. Bring back the short shorts. Okay, and then can we talk about
Can we just put Google in those shorts just for a minute, please?
Can we talk about Nike's constant failure of Serena? What is with these incomplete kits? Either they're too short or they've got cutouts that they don't belong in. You know what? You know what looks really good on Serena? A-lines. A-lines are beautiful on Serena. It just, the outfits that she wears at Wimbledon, always spot on. But then they try to get creative, and it's just not working. Why was the back cut out of that outfit? It was weird looking.
It was just silly.
You know why she's on my list, right? These are the reasons why she needs a good Judy in her life. Because this shit, I've been telling you.
I don't know what's up with all you zebra people. I'm not talking to you zebra people. I'm not even acknowledging it.
Well, okay, can we just say though, I do think it's really cool that there was like a theme this year, and I hope that at the next tournament, like say the US Open, that we all decide on a theme. So either we're gonna go all zebra for one group, and then all the newbies, maybe they're gonna all be on
Panther. Because you know Adidas, this is some low-key copying because Nike came up with this cheetah print bullshit. I have a tiger bullshit last year, 2014, and the year before that. Nike already did this.
Okay, stop right there. Stop. What? I don't usually do this to Tony, but he's so innocent sometimes.
What did he say?
He wants to know what a Judy is. I often get messages from Tony asking me what slang words are, and I just go, oh, Tony. But this is too funny to not share. He says this whole time he's been thinking it was Judy Murray whenever. Okay, Tony, I'm sorry. I should have done that.
Okay,
explain what a Judy is.
Tony, first of all, Judy, when we talk about a good Judy, we are speaking of Judy Garland, okay? So definitely that's Judy. That's where any Judy comes out of a gay man's mouth, it's Judy Garland. Nearly 9 out of 10 times. Just that it is. But anyway, a good Judy is definitely a good friend. You know, a good, I don't want to say girlfriend because I don't see myself as a girlfriend, but you know. When I'm with my peoples, and my peoples mean my homosexual peoples, we say, girlfriend, what the fuck you doing? Every once in a while, when we are lubricated with liquor. With liquor. This
podcast is about to go right off the rails.
This is a Christian podcast. This is a Christian podcast. But anyway, so Tony, when someone says, you know, you need a good Judy in your life, you need a good best friend who's going to be honest, down to earth with you, and tell you the truth. Because you know what, when Judy Garland was on those, you know, like, you know, she was spilling truth, she was dropping truth bombs.
She's like Janina for you. She's like a good Judy, but not gay.
Judy Garland wasn't gay, but you know what? A good Judy, when you say a good Judy, it's referring to a gay man having a good, someone having a good gay best friend. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay, Tony. Just
that's what Carlton. Isn't that his name? Carlton is for Serena. A good Judy.
Mm.
Okay, fine.
We don't have time to talk about that.
We are out of control. This needs to stop.
We don't even have time for that.
Oh, props. You know what's so funny?
Sloane looked pretty good too, even if it's a bit too much blue.
I didn't see Sloane.
I don't remember. I know people are like, oh, I really like Sloane.
You know, I have one problem with Sloane's dress. She don't know where her waistline is. She doesn't know where the waist is. The waist is always underneath the boobies, and I don't understand that girl. It's either a baby doll dress, or we have the waist where the waist, your actual physical waist is. Yeah. Kiki looked the best of the zebras. It's true.
Yes,
Kiki did look the best.
Because she's so tall and thin.
And she put the right outfit together. Because the red dress with the back, you know, the black and white and the red stripe in the back looked very nice. Right. But we need to talk to Nike because come USO time, Serena needs to be in a better kit. Come on, Nike. Call Puna up and say, put her in an awesome outfit. And also, nothing Nike, too short that she constantly has to keep pulling down, and not this cutout thing that you guys have got going. It ain't working.
And she has had some really nice Wimbledon outfit in the past. I mean, now that they took away the color, because, you know, Serena went all overboard that year in 2012, girl. Why we wearing future shorts, okay? Put a little ribbon in there. Put a little lacing. You gonna wear future shorts. And Wimbledon just be like, apparently, we gotta police this shit now. But back in 2004, when she lost, I think, albeit, she was wearing this very nice, the white, there was like a little bit of silver in it. That was nice. So, Nike, you need some inspiration. I mean, like, Nike, I have tons of good Judies who are designers, trust me. If y'all are not having inspiration, I can hook you up there too, people, because y'all are running. Y'all only seem to have time for Federer, which I'm not mad at, but I'm just saying.
So Maya liked the Felly and Pug, and she liked Richard's tricolor and Alizé's short jumper kits.
Oh yeah, that was cute.
Either. I don't remember.
That was cute.
Hold on. I just realized why I don't know what anybody looked like. I didn't watch any tennis. I listened to it. I'm like, how did I miss all this? I never actually saw it.
It's true, though.
Oh, my God.
She was listening the whole time. It's true.
By the way, so, you know, as always, I don't have American TV coverage when it comes to tennis. But, you know, sometimes, you know, the European, with all their privileges, but he's saying some crazy shit. I don't know their names, but he's definitely a British commentator, older gentleman. So he was saying, you know, like, you know, when Murray was getting his ass beat by the time we're heading into like the fourth set or the end of the third set, he was just like, you know, well, Murray needs to do something, you know, maybe he might not have to sting like a bee, but, you know, he need to come out like a wasp, which he is. No, he didn't.
You know what? This is not a pop culture guidance podcast, Emmanuel.
Did you just call Mario Wasp on TV? Like, seriously? Like.
Well, it is. Okay, I will say that for Andy Murray, I don't like Andy Murray's body type at all, but I do think that Under Armour could stand by shortening his shorts. Mm-hmm. He's got massive legs. I mean, maybe he'll end up looking a little bit like Boris Becker did back in the day, but he could stand to have a really tight kit. I'm just saying.
Well, the only time I don't mind the Under Armour is when Andy is in all black, and I typically don't mind that on anybody. I think I like it. I just like it.
Oh my God! Somebody just asked us on Twitter, and I feel like it's a fair question. Is it possible that Serena's fashion sense just stinks? She probably has a lot of say in the process. I will say that because she did design a really bad dress for the ladies when they did Fed Cup. It was a horrible dress.
I mean, I would say that, you know, like, and just so you know, this is why Serena needs a good Judy. She has a cosmetologist degree. Girl, that hair is never flawed. Rarely is that hair flawed.
Her edges are a mess. Her edges are such a mess.
Okay, we're not going to do that now.
You know I love you, but I always drag constructively. You know, there's a little constructive criticism here. I love you, girl. Venus, you know you be getting it too. So don't even people try to come for me saying I hate Serena. But, you know...
Venus put herself together nicely this tournament.
Right, okay, yes.
And I think Sloane looked very good.
Chris Bradman.
And Kiki looked very good.
I think it's Chris Bradnam. I think it's him. Your Shane is actually through, so I'm not sure, but it's definitely an older British. He do make some very salient points, and he's not always on the Murray bandwagon. he's very fair in commentating. The other folks, it'd be like, wow, did you see that Murray shot? He lost the point, boo. He lost the point. It didn't matter what he did. He just lost the fucking point. Okay. But
well,
all right,
I mean, at the end of the day, we only have Murray to blame for Nole's ascendance. That's a real stinger.
Yeah,
So,
I did not
we
even
just
know
got
they were
asked
like
if Anna
older
Whitnauer.
than each other. There's a 5 weeks difference between the two of them.
Yeah. We just get asked what, Janina? Sorry.
If Anna Wintour overlooks Roger's kits, she says she remembers him saying he asked her a lot.
Yes.
She recommends.
Well, that would be why he always looks so damn good.
And
Serena.
Can we point out the fact that Anna Wintour was nowhere to be seen this?
Of course she wasn't.
I thought she had a relationship with Nole.
Come on.
She didn't show up.
By the way, just so your fans to know, this podcast is brought to you by #BuyTheLove. If you can't get the love on your own, you just give us some chocolate in the press box. You just tell people to love you, scream at ball kids, and you just buy the love. Thank you very much.
Whew, all right, I'm out.
So, before we leave,
it was fun.
I just want to say the French Open is finally over, ladies. We're done. We can close the checks on this. Thank you, fans, for listening. Really appreciate it. And don't just leave just yet. Thank you for all the comments. And just so you know, we have a very extra special podcast coming out for you on Wednesday. Hopefully Maria's announcement happens Friday. But, we have an extra special podcast. I wouldn't tell you anything about it, but let's just say we're spilling some tea. We're just spilling some tea all over the place. It's very fun. I'm sure the ladies have been all excited to get this out, but you know what? We got to put first thing first, and we got to put the first French Open to bed so that we can start being adults and having some adult conversation. Not this shit.
Really deep.
I mean, like, you know what? In my final assessment...
Could we close, though, by talking about Muhammad Ali, which is a better thing to end on anyway than the French?
Yes, go ahead.
Real.
Oh, you want me to start this off?
Yes.
Really?
Well, no. I mean, I was just I want to actually have it noted that this was the week it happened.
I think I found out via Twitter, and that's when I was about to tweet you too and say, DM you and say, Muhammad Ali's dead. Janina said, oh my God, did you see Muhammad Ali is dead? And I was like, oh my God, this is insane. I actually saw Muhammad Ali in real life, in person. He was probably I don't want to say 20 feet. He was close by. I didn't touch him. He was definitely in stage of Parkinson. He was there with his wife. I think it's his second wife, or his current wife right now. And I believe Layla Ali was present. I saw them at Racing the Sun. This is way back when I was in college, a young thing, with Puffy and Felicia Rashad and Audra McDonald.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And Sonali. And let me just say, Puffy may bring the people, but the ladies had that show. Yep. Oh, my God, it was amazing. But anyway, he was in the audience, and actually they took a moment to recognize him, and he stood up, and, he sort of, gestured to the crowd, and it was an amazing, surreal moment. I mean, for me, as a male, I appreciate Muhammad Ali. Sometimes I don't always appreciate his braggadociousness. Sometimes during the matches, like when the boxing bout, things that he's said to people. I think some of the things he said was rather rude, but this was the nature of boxing back in the day. But however, outside of the ring, I thought Muhammad Ali was a phenomenal man in terms of the things he did. I think it's very funny and interesting when people talk about him, the press talked about Muhammad Ali, because they really didn't have a love affair with Muhammad Ali until he was broken.
Yes.
If we can put it that way. Also, one of the greatest moments, I think, is Muhammad Ali lighting the 96 Olympics.
In Atlanta.
Right? Amazing moment. He came out of nowhere, basically, to do that. But I think if you can literally listen to any conversation, Muhammad Ali is there. And for the tone police, you can just check yourself. Fuck the tone of Muhammad Ali. But nearly everything that Muhammad Ali was saying is quotable. The statement that he's saying, and not only was it quotable, he was speaking truth. Muhammad Ali put American nonsense in a perspective, in a way, in a raw manner, in a don't give a fuck manner, in a very in your face, in ways I think that not even James Baldwin and Malcolm X and any of the civil rights leaders could have done. That he brought it to people in a way, and he brought it to homes, because young boys and people were in love with Muhammad Ali, world champion. And then when he was just like, yeah, y'all are just here for the spectacle of Muhammad Ali, the boxer. But while I have you here, this is what I'm gonna let you know. And he is a lesson of how naturally media don't run his shit. He runs the shit. So forever that I would always respect and remember Muhammad Ali. And every once in a while, I try to have that in mind when I deal with people and things, You have to stand up for yourself and speak your truth and speak the truth, because otherwise someone's going to run you over and fuck you over, because the press, as Andreen always says, the press doesn't have your best interests at heart. It's all about them. So Muhammad Ali is a lesson in how to deal with the media. Ladies?
I'm gonna be real honest. I've got nothing. I don't. I honestly don't know much about him. Boxing isn't a sport that I particularly enjoy or really have followed, and I know little bits and pieces here. It's always sad when somebody dies, but I really don't have anything to add.
Well, I was thinking about him this week because, I knew that we were going to be having these GOAT conversations.
Hold on a second. Janina, is your peanut gallery up there having something to say about
Yeah, I think he might want to talk about Muhammad Ali.
Okay. Well,
do you want to talk about him?
Tell him. So no, I was thinking about Muhammad Ali because, obviously people started showing footage, and I don't have any sort of personal stake in it in the sense that I even followed boxing or anything. Right. But for me, I always think about media persona. I always talk about image. I always talk about brand, and those are things that I think about naturally. And so for me, it's fascinating to me that we have been giving people greatest ever sort of tags. And it's only ever been about the sport. But what was really revealed to me this week is that Muhammad Ali was like courageous at the height of when people usually retreat. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like you're now at the height of your sport, your money's about to roll in, and your sponsors want you to say exactly what you need to say. And that's when most athletes retreat and become sort of cowards because they want to protect their dollars, they want to protect their legacies, and and it was amazing to me that he did the complete opposite, and that it was only after many, many, many years where people came back around to him. And so, of course, I've been thinking about it this week because I knew that Novak Djokovic was on this road, right, and on this ride, and people wanted him to be something. And it's been interesting to me to watch somebody who, in some ways, was a fairly contentious personality when he came on tour, and how he's taken this road where he's become completely sort of like, I want to say, he's just bland. Right? He's completely blanked himself, right? Because what he wanted to do was appeal to everyone. So that his Serbian-ness and all of those things that were sort of initial challenges for people were really sort of put to the wayside so that he could emerge as the $100 million man, right? And so, I don't know, as I've been watching this week, I was like, you know what, this has been really fascinating to watch the freedom that Muhammad Ali sort of gave himself. He gave himself permission to take hard lines as a black athlete and say, fuck all, I'm going to go to jail. I'm not going to do the thing. I'm not going to divorce my wife and get together with a white wife. I'm not going to take all the trophies, including the money, the house, and a white wife. I love that quote. So for me, it's been kind of really a revelation to look at an athlete use their position in a very transformative way. In a way that's actually really going to have an impact long term beyond the records, because when people talk about Muhammad Ali, they talk about his bouts and his battles in the ring, but equally important, if not more important, is what he did outside. Yes. And that's like Arthur Ashe for us really in tennis.
Right.
And it's amazing that it's been two African American men that did that when they were the most vulnerable, and yet they did that. And people who are sort of like, whose sort of privilege allows them a platform, and they weren't ever willing to sacrifice a little bit of their privilege. We're now talking about fucking equal prize money bullshit shit for people, and you're like, dude, that's like nothing.
And I am anyway. Not and also, as we're on the discussion of Olympics, we just sort of touched on that. Yeah. We should all know that Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali's birth name, he won an Olympic medal in 1960 in Rome, in the lightweight heavyweight champion, and he actually, with the bullshit that came along with it, he threw his Olympic gold medal in the river. He threw it away. He doesn't have the original one, and they actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think by the 96 Olympics they gave him the recreated one for him. So just let you know, sometimes you just have to stand up and speak the truth, and shame the devil. He's I'm telling you, the money and all of that is happy in whatever the case is, but it's another discussion. I guess the age of social media, how people are retreating into their boxes and let their press agents do the chatting. But anyway, folks, for viewers,
that was our Muhammad Ali acknowledgement.
That was our marathon live.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is one of our longest shows ever. And we're happy that you're listening. And for those who will catch us later on, I hope you enjoy it.
I hope you make it till the end.
Yes, because this week I'm definitely not going through and trying to break stuff down. But it's all good. It's always a wonderful show. Thank you for those who comment. We appreciate it. And there will be, don't forget, on Wednesday there will be a special podcast put out. Then, if Maria does make an announcement, log.
Oh,
Tony. We've prepared you for the conversation.
Yes. And I hope you've enjoyed our live podcast throughout the French Open, and we'll do it again when Wimbledon comes.
For Wimbledon, yes. But you know what, ladies? I'm looking forward to the fact that it's a Sunday evening and we don't have a podcast to record at night.
Bring on Game of Thrones.
Janina can get to a Game of Thrones in time.
All right.
Thank you, folks. Thanks for listening, and good night, ladies.
Au revoir.
And for those in Europe, thank you for sticking around and listening. And for the Nole family, hashtag Nole fam, congratulations. Maybe now y'all will stop trespassing in press boxes. Good night.
Bye.
Hashtag bye to love. Thank you very much.